What's up, everyone? Make sure you check out the West West Network website at westwestnet.com. Here you can find amazing independent podcasts based in Aotearoa, covering everything from pop culture to mental health. Also, if you enjoy our content and want to support us, please consider clicking on the support button on the homepage of the website. We appreciate your patronage and look forward to delivering more thought-provoking and quality conversations.
West, y'all.
One, two.
There's things, there's things that I gotta figure out. Like, I haven't even figured out this table where this is supposed to be. Because I reckon this should be on this side. Because I reckon the camera should be on this side.
Yeah.
I think the camera should be away from where the arms are. Because if the camera's where the arm is, this is going across your face.
Oh, yeah.
So, things like this you learn,
Bro, like, I always have these, like, you think of these dream podcast studios, you know, you compare yourself, or not compare yourself, but you look at, like, the top of the line, which is, you know, the Rogan and the Schultz and all them, you know, they're $1 million studios, and then you're like, fuck, how can I turn my studio into something like that, or kind of look like that? And then I think there's been only one that I've seen on Instagram, and I think you've had him in here. What's his name? He hires out his own studio. What's his name again?
Oh,
him and another guy. I forget his. You've had him on. They're intelligent dude too. Oh fuck, bro. Sorry, man. I don't know his name, but yeah, he has his own studio, and I think just by following him, he's been setting up quite a few other guys. Oh man, let me see if I can find him. But
yeah, I can't remember.
You've had him on the podcast too.
Have I? Oh,
yeah. I probably won't get his name by the end of this, but yeah, his setup was pretty flash too. He runs his podcast. Blow your mind, please.
I know what you're talking about. Nah, I never had him on.
Yeah,
but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
because
he's in the industry anyway. I think he works.
Yeah, he was previously like recording and all that stuff. He was like a professional.
He's a cameraman. Like, yeah, I think he's in the production. He's in the industry anyway.
Yeah, and all his gears are like top of the range.
Yeah, he had I think his podcast was on that channel, that TV channel. I think it was Orion TV or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's still, that network's still going, but
yeah, no, like, just, you know, you try and find someone that aligns with your budget, but then, you know, your budget's out the window anyway when you try to buy one mic.
But I think that's the way to go. Like, for us, we started real simple budget in the beginning, right in the beginning. And then, you know, because I don't really know what we're doing with regards to equipment and that. So we just gotta just do the basic USB in the laptop, start from there. And then, you know, as you go along, you just learn what's better than what you're doing, and you get the next step up. So this has been like the third time I've upgraded to these now. So
it's good though, because like I've been saying, when we've been chatting about like the audio and everything, your visuals, bro, they look good. They're good. Then, bro, every time you've upgraded, it's even better, look better. Bro, and then for us, because it's always virtual, you know, I'm always trying to upgrade stuff, and it always fucking turns on me, bro. Every time I go live, it's like press live and there's something going wrong. So I'm doing something wrong every time I'm upgrading, bro.
But at least you're doing it. You know, you're learning from what you're doing, and that's the same as me, man. Like, I never once thought I'll be into doing all this visual, because it's not my thing, you know. But I just like to podcast, and this comes with the territory. Even video, man, because I never liked video. In the beginning, I never wanted this to be a video thing.
Oh yeah,
I never wanted that. I just wanted it to be audio, but I realized that you have to, if you want to get more exposed. Yeah, like get on social media and all that. 100%. So you can't just have a blank screen and audio. You have to have a picture.
You can only go so far with it, eh? Like, I mean, you can, a lot of the big podcasts, they when they're pushing it out to the media, yeah, they have a few, but it's always those visuals that get you a bit further. Hey, people want to watch like the 15 second of who you're interviewing or whatever. But nah, it's next level now. Just seeing podcasts grow that far, and how consistent people can be within just podcast itself. Because I remember when we first started, it was just like the trend day, let's start a podcast, let's do it, But as you can see, the pandemic or this COVID kind of pushed people to do what, it was there. You just need to Google it or YouTube all this stuff, and then if it didn't pan out, you kind of find out throughout that what do you call it, COVID. But no, it was for us, building something like that was always in the back of our head, but we thought it was out of our reach, And then, seeing your guys' platform, and I think we said a lot with us is that, you guys were the benchmark, and it still is, seeing you guys, oh shit, if they can do it, we can do it, that sort of stuff, And then once we, I guess, kind of linked up, like another world opened up, like, oh shit, another New Zealand. And the good thing about it is seeing Kiwis do it, and we try and follow it, as many Kiwis that are in that realm, or not even Kiwis, like Islanders, Pacific Islanders, do that sort of stuff. So, nah, it's good. It's good now that there's millions of us around doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like you say, heaps of Aucklanders, especially PIs, doing it. Especially people that are not even in the media industry, not work for TV or radio or anything like that. Because there's now a big explosion of podcasts around, and there's a lot of the TV radio ones, right? Yeah. There's a lot of them doing side podcasts, or even the radio station show, cutting out the music and just stitching together all the audio parts and just calling that a podcast. But then you got these media people doing their own podcasts as well, so they get into the space. But it's I don't know about you guys, but man, when I see people like you guys, and because us, we don't come from this. That's not our world, eh? Yeah, we're not from.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it, but we're just.
I know jack shit about about communications. I never went to communication studies all that.
Yeah,
to tell you the truth, I knew about communication studies back in the day. But then I was so scared because I'm not that type to go up and do public speaking in that.
Yeah,
like all through my school days, like never, like even when we have those school speeches.
Yeah,
like man, I had anxiety.
Like, true.
I didn't want to do it. Like scared.
Yeah,
like
I think that's what
started in that
with all of us, man. Because I think as a group or as Polly's Pacific Islanders, we're always good to have a laugh with it, and we talk and we're good at it, like within our peers. But you put us, some people are good at it, just putting them in the limelight, and they'll just take off, But like me, I can chat within the boys, but as soon as you press record or something, or now that I know that it's recording, you're like, fuck, am I pushing too hard, or am I talking too? All these the shit you start thinking about, like it puts you in these self-doubt. It's like, oh, does it look good, or oh, do I sound like that sort of stuff? Like to your point, it's like fuck. Every time, bro, press live.
Because we're not built like. Yeah. There's a lot of us that are not built like that, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's funny when we come to this stage of our life and we get into something called a podcast, and this is a thing now. Podcast allows normal people just to go get on the mic and be on the same platform as everyone else, But the only difference is that no one knows us. Everyone knows the radio people. No one knows us. That's only
more
difference.
Exposure for them, but at the same time, we get to, I guess, showcase what we, from our home or our humble podcast there,
and how we talk.
Yeah,
we talk.
We even we make all the mistakes on these podcasts, but that's our uniqueness there. And if you ever watch our podcast, bro, I'm always the one making mistakes on there. Nobody's like, hey, what the hell is this guy talking about? Fuck. Calm down, bro.
But that's the real you, man.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about what would you call us, amateur podcasters, right? This is the amateur round. Like we're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
But that's the most appealing thing about it.
Yeah.
Because it's the realness. It's someone like us out there listening to us and thinking, damn, they can do it. Like you said, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. And And not only that, like you see it, and then you listen to like all like the stories that you guys have been pushing out. Like it's like fuck, these guys are. It's like these stars become normal, and you normalize them in the setting, even though you see them like on their Insta or their social media pages, and they've got like tens of thousands of followers, but you kind of bring them back down to where we are, and then you're like, oh, this guy's normal, but but you see them all the time, like, oh shit, like, and it's like that. You see, oh, like 50,000 followers, or oh, they're getting like 500,000 views. You're like, fuck, this guy's not normal. He's not a human. That's what you do, and when you put them in front of you, like, oh man, it's good to know that they're human and they make mistakes like us.
And I think you're right about that, especially because I remember because our first celebrity we got on our show was Nixon, and you guys got him on too.
Yeah,
I remember, man, I was so nervous. Because we got a celebrity. I can't believe it. Like coming to my house, like coming to my garage. What the hell, man? What the fuck, man? Man, so nervous. And he picked a Saturday morning, so it's like odd, it was odd kind of time. So, oh man, that's probably had anxiety the night before, Just had a few beers on Friday. Yeah. Fuck, Nixon's coming tomorrow.
Get you in the zone, eh?
Wake up hungover now. Woke up and Air came and set up, bought all this food, because it's so nervous, eh?
Yeah.
Then he walks in and you chat away, and then you just somewhere along the line you just forget he's like this big star.
Yeah.
And he's just a normal dude, and we're talking to him, and then that's you don't even notice.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. And then man, but he's talking like you haven't heard him talk before. Like, he doesn't talk like this on the radio. He's talking to you like you said, like a normal guy.
Yeah.
And that's that bringing them down to our level.
Yeah.
And that kind of conversation thing, and which is really good, because
100.
And I like to think that people like Nixon and whoever comes on, like feels the same.
Yeah.
Way, because that's what he projected to us.
Yeah.
Like he was comfortable. I hope he was comfortable, but he looked comfortable and he was cool to talk to us, and and it was just like a normal conversation. It wasn't like an interview kind of thing. Oh, obviously we're gonna ask him about his work, and because we're interested, and that's another thing about what I love about doing the podcast is like learning off people.
Yeah, especially finding those gems, like that, like you guys have always, with your guests, these gems that pop up. You're like, wow, that's so good to hear. First you've heard it here first. That kind of stuff. So when you're doing a podcast, that you try and you're trying to get everyone's gems out but at the same time be comfortable, not those forces. Oh, anything you've done that nobody is. You don't want to say that, right? It just and that's what you see in your guys' podcast. It's natural. You see it come out because you've built this environment where everyone can come in, have a chat, and just be natural, not those acting ones. It's funny because when we first started the podcast, I didn't know what we were gonna do. So we came in, and we were gonna do a live. I think I tried too hard, and I felt like real. I don't know what's that feeling when you press press play and you're like, it's just not natural, and this feels weird. Like when you're talking, like, fuck, this is not me. Why am I doing this? And I had to, every time I played it back and listened to myself, I was like, oh fuck, this is cringy as shit. Then I knew I wasn't myself, so I had to kind of change, not change myself, but be, like you said, natural, be normal, like so people can feel comfortable. But I was just trying too hard because I was thinking of all these podcasts. Oh, I should be like this, but you shouldn't be, right? You should just be yourself. It's your podcast. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But nah, I was trying too hard, bro. That's the number one rule. Don't be someone else. Don't come onto your podcast and just be someone else.
Was that because it was live and it's on camera,
bro? That
because you guys off the bat started like that, with us it was audio from the beginning. And I remember when we first did our first episode, it was me and Avi, and we were just talking about the week. This was the 1919, and we were talking about State Origin because it was around State Origin time that year, and we were talking about the game. The Blues won that year, but we were talking about the game and talking about what happened during the week, and that was pretty cool. But then when I had to go put it out there because it's pre-recorded, man, I edited the shit out of that. episode there. Like all the ums and ahs gone, like all the gaps and everything. And if I didn't sound right, I'll just edit what I was saying.
Yeah.
You know, and to make myself sound better.
Yeah.
You know, you can take some ahs and stutters out and stuff.
If you go back to ours, the podcast we run, I even on lives is like, I don't know, I'm saying until I watch it back, I was like, bro, this guy's saying like 100 times, you know, like that sort of stuff. But because we're live, you know, I'm sure people are feeling the same way I do when I rewatch it. I'm like, you just want to delete. But nah, I think the whole reason why we wanted to go live is that we didn't know how to edit properly, so we want to just put something out there and there. But we know that podcasting at the end of it, like a lot of the editing stage is quite a big part of it, and like just to what you're saying. But we're like, oh shit, let's just go head first into the sea, you know. Let's go run it straight, and then I think after that. After our first show, and then maybe 1 to 5, maybe, I think the reaction we got from like people we didn't know was probably like the best part was, oh hey, like no, we're really enjoying it, but just the private DMs of, oh hey, you know, can you keep doing what you're doing and maybe mention this or mention that. It's like, oh shit, sweet. So that made it even better. At least people are saying it. Hopefully they're telling the truth and say it's good. If you don't like it, please tell us as well. No, but yeah, it's just getting the reaction from public or people you don't know, and they're messaging you and saying, "Hey, look, man, enjoyed this podcast," or you know, this podcast, I don't agree with that, which is good. You know, you're not gonna the target audience that we had. We're not gonna. Not many people are going to be happy with what we say because it's from our opinions and our views, and everyone else has their view. So to have people that gave us feedback, not only the good and the bad, you get, you know, it's just a whole bunch of feedback. The feedback that we did get was good, even though it was bad. That's what I was trying to say. Even though it was bad, we still got it back. So, you know, it was a big learning, but. Nah, man, it was crazy that those first 2 episodes where we're trying to push something that we didn't know what we're doing. We didn't have this goal, you know. We just said podcast, mental health, and let's see where we go. There's no idea, you know. Like you could see, and we've still got it up on our page on our first episode where we're just talking about everything and anything. So on that journey of trying to, you know, focus more on mental health and not make it about us, we started learning as we were going, because that's the best way to do it, right? In podcasting, if you don't do it and just think about it, it's not going to go anywhere. So, and also having the help, like, you know, with you guys jumping on, you know, reaching out to you guys and asking if you wanted to be on the podcast. It's good that, you know, with your well, we called you guys professionals then, because shit, we just started. You guys have a studio. You guys had this. You know, all these podcasts were like shit. Even just having you on the podcast was like shit. These guys are experienced. How we're gonna go with this, and everything's all virtual. So even though, like, it's on the camera, we weren't in person. Like what you were saying about those ums and ahs and those, what do you call those quiet, those gaps in between. You're like trying to think of something. I had this bad habit of doing the podcast, and I don't like those quiet gaps. I just jump in and say whatever. Sometimes it's like out of a shit that I say, yeah, you know, fucking stupid sometimes. And then you like go back. Oh, sometimes you need to just relax, Terry. And when it goes quiet, it's like, oh yeah, about that. I was like, oh yeah, just let it go.
But that's why I give it up to you guys, man. Off the bat, straight lives, man. I couldn't have do that. I couldn't have done that. It took a year for us to do our first episode. Like, I had the idea a year before, and I was just trying to figure out how to do it. And I wanted to do it, and I did like little, just because I learned how to make the intros of YouTube, and I just did some intros and listened to them back. Then I had, you know, I got my cousin in, did a little 5-minute talk about, I think it was about Lonzo Ball or something, because that was during that time when you first came out, and all that, and just playing it back and putting it on the MP3 and listening to the car and to see what I sound like and all that, like back and forth, and then I figured out how to make an intro. I made a little intro, and I remember going to I think we had a drink up at one of the boys' house, and I showed it to everyone, and everyone was like, "Man, what's this? This is like a podcast." And they heard my voice. He goes, "Oh, are you on a podcast?" Like, like it was like exciting for everyone. And I was thinking, "Oh man, we could like do it." Like,
yeah.
But everyone was like shy as. I asked my friends, jump on, but everyone was like, nah, everyone was shy.
Yeah.
But then when I started doing it, like people started to jump on one by one because they were listening to it and thought it was cool.
Yeah. Because you normalized it, eh? You made it so easy that, not easy, but all that hard work you put through, later on down the track, people were like, "Oh, yeah, no, I can have a chat because he's chatted to this dude. I can try and fit in there." Which is good, bro, Because even like I try ask, when I first reach out to like a few of my mates, even in the sports podcast, because everyone has a lot to say in sports, we always, digging into each other, like, "Oh, you guys are shit." But as soon as we go, "Hey, bro, I want to jump on the podcast and say that," and like, just same banter. "Oh, nah, I don't want to see you."
Yeah.
So you try and make it like easy enough for them to just, "Bro, it's all good. You just us. Don't worry about what's happening on the screen." But still, they don't want to jump on. Even to this day, we're like, "Oh, bro, come on, join us, man. We're just talking shit, man."
Because I found like once you're shy in the beginning, but when you jump on, you can't get off.
Yeah.
Especially having a few beers, everyone's like into it. Especially when we started
talk about alcohol. Wait, that's number one, man.
Oh, you have to have something in front of you, like calm people or calm the nerves, maybe.
Yeah. And but when you have too much alcohol, which you see on some of the podcasts, my earlier podcasts, is like, where's this guy going with his question? This is like a 10-minute question and doesn't even know what the hell he's asking, eh?
So, how did the For the Boys podcast start in the beginning? Like, was it you that started it? Was it come from your idea? Or?
No. It was so myself, Swanky, and Muffy. Myself and Swanky, we always spoke about podcasts and not creating a podcast, but just having listened to like all these podcasts. Bro, these are mean, I think the same with you guys, where you at an earlier stage where podcasts were just coming out. And I heard when I was listening to you guys' podcast, to the Joe Rogans of the makers of these podcasts, and we started listening to some, we started sharing some, and then I think we're like at a stage where 2019, I think it was late 2019, a few of the boys at work were going through just problems within their, I think, their personal lives, and we're trying to create a group to come together and let's talk about it, because you see the changes at work, you see them going through physical changes, and at some part of it just looked unhealthy, and not to say we're professionals at seeing and hearing this sort of stuff, but a few of the boys got together, and Swanky and I was like, how about we just get together and talk about it? It wasn't a podcast, just let's have a chat. So yeah, we created like a Zoom based like a platform where all the boys can jump on and have a chat.
Just a private.
It was meant to be a private one. So and even then the boys didn't want to jump on. I think it's the part where they didn't want to share just the personal stuff, but we'll like just mention it, and then as us Islanders, we just glaze over it. Oh yeah, and then we'll just move on to something else, because that's the last thing we want to talk about, our personal lives and having a cry about it. So we just created this platform for all of us to jump on. A few of the boys kept jumping on every now and then we knew it was going to be about mental health, or trying to help our people. And then I think he got to about maybe a few weeks into like trying to build a podcast, or trying to start the group. And then I think the boys are like, bro, why don't we just create a podcast where I think this is template that most people use anyway. They've thought of it in their way of podcasting, and we kind of thought about the same thing as, bringing people together, sharing our not only the goods but the bad stuff in their lives, and hopefully in the hopes that maybe it'll help one person out there, we just we wanted to help everyone in the world, but obviously you can't. So yeah, we're just trying to push it out to a few of the boys and say, look, bro, we know that a lot of people can benefit from just sharing their stories. So that was it. So once that base came along, that platform, it took off from there. Then we, at first we knew that not many people were gonna just jump on a live, because who wants to share, right? But we needed to be vulnerable as well. We needed to kind of, open up and let everyone into us, like into our kind of personal setting. And then when that started, I think that's when the ball started rolling. When we started approaching or reaching out to quite a few people, and we try to reach out to stars as well. Like a few famous people, just to bring them down to our level, like you guys were doing in your podcast, and hopefully in some way we get everyone's vulnerability. Everyone's vulnerable throughout the show, and it's a hard thing to try and push on people. It's I wouldn't be like that if someone is like, oh, how are you feeling? I'm not a therapist, but that's the last thing I want people to hear. So that was it. So it was just based on a few of the boys that were coming together and just having a chat, and then a few episodes down, we introduced the live, and I think that's where it didn't blow up. We didn't get like 50,000 views. We only got a few from the family, and then I guess the best part about it is having your own like siblings or family reach out and say, hey man, thank you for this, because we didn't know that you were going through this. But at the same time, they share their bit. So I guess that's been a blessing for us as well, just especially hearing from our family, bro.
The mental health space has changed over the years, especially for Pacific Islanders, because when I was young, that's not talked about. It's hardened up, that kind of style. There are a lot of things like that. You couldn't show vulnerability to anybody, and I think the narrative has changed now, like because of mental health and people starting talking about it. I think what happens with you guys is that when people see, like, if someone is down in their life for some reason, and I think what they think is that I'm alone. No one has the same feeling I do. I don't know what to do. But when they hear other brown people say a story that's similar to theirs, and they go, "Oh shit, fucking, he's got the same thing too," and he's talking about it, and then they'll make that person think, "Man, maybe I should talk about mine, and someone else can feed off me." Yeah. And make him better. I think that's how it goes, and that's the domino effect that happens around.
You're correct, bro. It's if we naturally try and help people out there. We're naturally trying to help, even if we saw someone on the side of the road that has going through something, or you see they need to change their tire or whatever. You naturally go, "Oh yeah, you're good," So, but we already have that. When it comes to the mental side, the mental health, or I guess suffering, or just up here, it's a bit noisy. We are very, I think, particular in sharing what we want people to hear. So if we have people like us, people like yourselves, just letting it out, it helps everyone. It helps, and that's I think the biggest part of sharing is that if we share to help someone, that makes it 10 times better than what it is already. So if we, like, for us, and we try, and when we talk, you have to be vulnerable. Like, we have to be vulnerable too. You can't just I'd hate to be that person and try and like say I'm a professional, I'm a therapist, but open up. I want to hear all. You have to kind of meet them halfway and say you've gone through some as well. And which I think Swanky and Muffy and myself, everyone's gone through it, but everyone sees it in a different kind of light. My sort of, whatever upbringing I went through, or Muffy's upbringing, it's totally different. But in some sense, it's the same, because there was it's that trauma that's hard to let everyone know, Yeah, it's crazy that and we didn't start the movement of that. There's so many other podcasts that talk about how you should open up, but in your own time, obviously. But we just jumped on the journey that everyone else is doing, and try to shed the light with our Pacific and Polynesian brothers. So doing that first. Sharing our journey was probably the best, and then everything else kind of opened up, and we created a platform that hopefully not only do people listen to it now, but in the future they can look back and say, oh wow, actually these guys shared something, and maybe in the future they already know how to deal with it. That's just the way it is, and that's what hopefully podcast has done. Not only do you get to listen to sport, everything else, and mental health, you get to run it back a few years later and hear hopefully the good and the bad.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And that's cool how you guys do it, because I can say, like, our side of it was, I think when it came to mental health as a subject, like, it wasn't the forefront of what we were trying to do. Yeah. What our podcast was all about was, it might do that, and I believe it does cover those topics, because it's all about inspiring, and that's the same sort of thing. Like listening to normal people's stories about their career, or what they went through, the obstacles they faced, and how they got past it.
Adversity.
And these kind of stories, whether you believe it's not mental health or not, it is in a way. When people listen to it, they get inspired from it, because we get inspired from these stories too, and we come from that position that we want to hear these stories and we want to learn from these people. Yeah. And it just so happens that it can, affect mental health in the positive way, But it's not our.
Yeah, it's not what you guys like push as a goal, is like, oh, mental health, let's just throw it out there. Yeah. It eventually, like, I think that's with every podcast, right? If you look, like, again, I'm just talking about Joe Rogan, because he's the GOAT, right? Like, I think might be. Well, it might not be the GOAT for everyone else, but he goes through everything too. Like, he starts background, and the way he navigates through his podcast, a lot of them face adversity, and then it's the stories that they then come out at the end of it. So even though it's not mental health, but at the same time, everyone's going through it. So that's what podcast does, bro. It just reaches out to it. It has a platform that shares everything and anything, and bro, it's so crazy how it's moved so fast for us as well. So,
and how much have you guys have learned since you guys started? Like, what's mental health to you now? Since when? But think about mental health now than what you thought of it when you first started. Has it opened up more?
Yeah, like it's
like, how big it is now. Like, just knowing the space now.
It's again, it's crazy, man. How, for me personally, how I've learned to be more, I guess, open to conversations. Just conversations in general. Whereas before, like, I enjoy a conversation and, like, having a chat with people, but sometimes some of the stuff that I do mention, or listen, like, I don't listen to the whole conversation, and sometimes I jump the gun, and quite a few, just jump the gun. But then you kind of, when you go through this journey, you learn to listen more instead of talking, because you find out more information that you hear is better than you talking over someone that's, trying to become what do you call that, therapist, and you're like, oh, you should be doing this, or you should, I've done that a lot. It's like I shouldn't be telling people. I should just be listening, and which that's the learning I've taken away from what we're trying to create. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot over the few years that we've created the platform. Just the listening part, and probably my wife will say otherwise. They don't listen. Selective hearing, I think that's the number one.
We can never win that battle.
Even though you listen, you probably listen to half the stuff you need to do. But she's. Oh, sorry. She even it helps me within my personal life with me as a husband and talking with my wife. Although at first throughout the going through our relationship, there was quite a few things that I hid. Just not hiding a secret, but I wasn't the type to
open up.
Yeah,
be open. Yeah.
But yet I jump on this podcast and I'm telling the world that I'm going through this. So you had to be transparent throughout everything, because one thing that podcasting does, it can, you've let someone else, or if you've let people into your house and you've shown them who you are, but yet you don't want to be. You go to your partner and you're total opposite. You don't want to talk, and that's how I kind of I've learned. Is that
you learned about yourself?
Yeah, I've learned because, and I went back to my wife, and I love you, but she would always not trying to throw her under, but she would always say, look, man, and I like that you're sharing your stuff with the boys, but are you this person, or are you that person? And I didn't click, because I think all I knew was to, in any Polynesian Pacific Island family, is that you are the strong man in your family. So you have to fight every battle, or you have to be the strongest person. So you're not meant to tell your wife that all these small things that kind of bug you, because we just swipe it away, and that's not something we want to talk about. And I guess in her the way she's trying to portray it to me is that she wants to know those sort of stuff, but I wasn't. I was like, why would you want to listen to that? This is just nothing, And she's like, but you say it on the podcast. I was like, do I? So it's a reality check when my wife said that sort of stuff. So even with my kids, just small things that like they say to you pisses me off. But you go, Dad, are you always grumpy? And like, oh, hey, like you don't think about it at the time, but when they're asleep and you've tucked them in that night, and then you listen, you go back to all the shit they've done, because as you do as a parent, and you're like, shit, was I really grumpy? Because the kids can really pick out stuff that you don't see or that you don't feel, and then they'll say it in a way you're like, shit, they're checking me on this. So and half of it was probably just because I was tired, and just trying to be those kind of dads, do this, do that, and there shouldn't be that kid. Let them be a kid, and then later on try and boss them around, but they still don't listen, even to this day. Nah. But
I'm the opposite, man, because my partner, she doesn't want to know anything. Like, she doesn't even listen to our podcast or anything.
Oh,
I try to open up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." On your phone, scrolling on your phone.
Oh, like, don't get me wrong. Like half the some of the podcasts she does watch, she's like, "Why are men like that?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's what they're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. We're not professionals, But in saying that, like, she's always like try doing this better. But as a male, as a man, I'm like, no, I know what's better. You didn't tell me what's better, you know. You didn't tell me what's better, but really, I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying it in my head. Hey, oh yes, yeah, okay.
Now that's cool you said that, because when I think about what I've learned about myself, because that's what it's all about, eh? Because we're the ones doing it. We're the ones on air every week, like pushing out the content and talking to different people. So it's about, and we never did this before, you know?
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, if we looked at what we're going to do, we wouldn't think we're going to do this, right? I think, what the hell? But we are.
Yeah.
It's got to change. It had to change us, right?
Yeah.
And we had to learn something about ourselves. And we did, I think. I think that's what you're explaining to me, what you've learned about yourself.
Yeah.
I think one about myself is that maybe I was born to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
And maybe because I had obstacles when I was young. Like, because I have a stutter. And it was really bad when I was a kid. So I couldn't really... I always got teased when I was at school. Like, when I talk, I couldn't say S words, like...
Yeah.
Or... You know? Or T words.
Yeah.
So I can't even say it. Then all the kids would laugh at me. This was back in primary school and all that. It was really bad. Then I got some therapy. My mom took me to a therapist. Then I was doing these things. But then over the years, I still had it, like through intermediate high school, but not as bad. It was slowly going away. I still got it a little bit here and there. But that because I had it at such a young age, that just killed my confidence, you know? Yeah. And that's why I didn't like public speaking and speeches and all that. Yeah. Because of all that.
Yeah,
all that stuff I had when I was young.
But you're right though, because you know the trauma would have started somewhere. So again, you know, for yourself, when you had these speech problems, it's sad because we now know as an adult that shit is so wrong that people would do this, but yet it happens, and that's that trauma that happens. It goes with you throughout your whole life, you know. Even like going back to when I was a kid, I was so small, so skinny, and like any sport I would play, I know I was average at best. But because you're getting told, oh, you're skinny, you're not going to make it anywhere. That kind of small, skinny, and you're not going to make it any of these big guys. So you put yourself like, fuck these cunts, I'm gonna prove, and that's the doubters, eh? They always did that to you. So that throughout my, my childhood up until I was at school, I always had that in the back of my head. Okay, I'm gonna do better than this. I'm gonna do better than what these people say. Or you're not gonna do this. You're too small to do that, Or you're not as good as this person. So in the sad thing about it is that it happens, eh? That's just normal life. I guess you either use it as fuel or you let it take over you. And for you, bro, you just jump straight into it. Like, if you were to tell yourself as a kid, oh, you're going to be on these podcasts and it's all verbal, you'd be like,
Yeah.
Or, I'm going to be an All Black, which I wasn't. I'm going to be All Black now. And if you were to tell me that, I play, I didn't travel the world, but, I just played a few rugby here and there, I wouldn't have probably thought that to myself. So, nah, man, some of these traumas that we face, it's a good and a bad, because you shouldn't be like put through that sort of stuff. But at the same time, it's a fuel, and we can use it as a positive. And bro, definitely for yourself, bro. You have a setup like this, and the the podcast world is crazy, bro.
That thing what you said about trauma and how you react to it. Like, when I think of depression, like, I think exactly what you said. Some people can handle, some people can't. Some people treat trauma, or some people treat a negative thing into fuel to, so I want to show you, and overcome it. Some people bow their head and go, yeah, you're right. Fuck.
Yeah,
but I don't know how you get to be those two types of people. I don't know what, because everyone's different.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah.
And you can be grow up in the same environment. Two people can grow up the same, and they can have those two different two different traits. One can be used as fuel. The other guy can not use it. And
and kind of use it as a negative and it'll take control of you instead of.
So I understand. I understand that happens to people. I get that. Cool.
Yeah,
that does happen to people.
Yeah,
I don't know why. People use it as fuel. I don't know why people use it as a downer.
I could only speak for myself. Is that I think I've failed so many times as a kid, but I didn't know it was failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because when I said I was traumatized being teased when I was a starter, so all I did was avoid.
Yeah.
And so that was my safe place.
Yeah, true.
So avoid that stuff and not talk. Not
put yourself in that situation.
And not tell. And not tell stories.
Yeah, because it already. You already know that in the back of your head, I'm gonna stuff up and these guys are gonna laugh. That's it.
Yeah, not do it.
Avoid. So you don't put yourself there first.
Yeah, that's right. So I was comfortable not doing that, and I just lived a lot of my childhood being that person to avoid stuff, and I was fine with it.
Yeah,
it was never a wanting to be in the be out there. I am fine. I don't want to do it because I know I'm gonna stutter.
Yeah,
I'm safe here. I'll just carry on, and I just carried on.
Yeah,
so. I didn't use it. I didn't do both. I didn't use it as fuel, and I didn't use it as like bow my head and I just carried on, but just avoid it. That might not be a good thing too. I don't know.
Oh, depends how you define what's success to you, right? Like you've gotten over it, and for me as well. I thought at a young age, we get these idols put in front of us, and one thing being like a great rugby player, but I was too small. Like those little things. But yeah, I use it as fuel. But at the same time, I failed a lot. As a kid. Like I don't know what failure was then. Like I think I'd use not making these rep teams as a failure. And then you get to an age where, I think when you're out of school, when you're average at best. And your goal was to be, a rep player, and you get over it. Like obviously I'm not going to All Black, and I'm sitting here, but like I just like you said, you just moved away from it. You maybe that when you're younger, you didn't want to go that route of being the type to address those whatever you're going through, and that's the same thing as me. Like I'll still play rugby, I still play all the sports I could, and I think that kind of helped too. Like failure and just playing anything and everything, because I couldn't put myself in this one lane when I know I could put myself in all these other and try different things. And I guess what do you call them? A jack of all trades. As a sports player, I try and play everything and everything, even throughout college. Finishing off, I just put my hand in that and playing badminton or squash. It's shit that you don't really see, or you see your role models as. So you're trying that. I think for me, I failed a lot, which taught me how to be more, I guess, mentally stronger. I don't know if that's even something, but I put that down to that, and also having family members around you that are always positive anyway. Like they know you're. Oh, maybe they didn't, because mum always used to tell me. Mum and dad always said, "Oh, sorry, not dad, but mum used to always, you're doing well." But when you see, look at dad, he's like that. You look at your dad and you're just looking for that one thing, he's like, not even give you a thumbs up, or, he's smiling, you'll be like, walking away, and you're like, maybe that was good today, but not as good as, he wants it to be done. But, I think that's made me a better man today too. Like all those things that, but the old man was a hard man, and like as anyone's parent, especially when they've moved from the islands to come here and to better your life, and to see that, you know, they're trying to push you in. Bro, like, you don't really know how much all these sports things, like, fees cost until you have kids, eh? You know, fucking, I don't know how, man, kids are. So I can only just imagine that him putting me through all these sports, he's paying in these things. His kids like,
not making.
Yeah, he was. I paid this $100 and you disappoint me. You know, that sort of stuff. But
you're right, man. With the generation, though, our parents come from the islands. And, you know, there's no bloody PC there. There's no... That's the ultimate harden up living.
Yeah.
You know? And they got out of it because that's what the norm was over there.
Yeah.
We can't even fathom what it's like to be in that environment with our dad, especially our dads, because they're the men of the family, you know?
Yeah.
They're working outside, you know? They're doing all the food and, you know, they're playing rugby, they're boxing, they're fighting.
Hunter-gatherers, you know, they're the hunters of our family. They're providing for us.
It's a hard life, man.
Yeah,
hey, working in plantations.
And you're trying to reach, you're trying to reach that, like the same kind of, just trying to reach their same level where, you know, they move from the island. They're gonna see me do this, and they turn up to one game and then don't turn up for the rest of the year, you know.
But yeah, man, I was thinking about like you're saying, like the if you think about the psychology of it all, like our parents, right? They come to New Zealand for a new life, and they have kids, us, and then we go to school. But automatically they see doesn't know how they grew up.
Yeah,
it's like I can probably see my dad thinking, man, my kids like they're growing up real soft, you know, But back then it wasn't soft on our heads.
Yeah,
it's even softer now with our kids how they're living. So that's another level. You know, it's getting. You know, it's evolving, like, the way... Because this is internet age now.
Yeah.
Social media is a big deal. You know, kids are getting born into social media, so...
Yeah. And that's just the way it is, eh?
They don't know what it's like when there's no social media. We know what it's like, because we grew up with no social media.
Yeah.
So...
Bro, straight up, that's... It's hard because, you know, that our kids are now born during this era where social media, like you said, it's just right in front of them. And that's... When they go to school, they use a tablet or a laptop. So everything is done online, and
no one's walking to school.
Where we were kind of
no one's walking to school.
And that too, bro. You know, the gas prices. The kids just, you know, it's just a walk away to their preschool, but you know, have to go in the car, mate. Get in the car before, and to that, like, it's just a dangerous world now. You know, you know, there's a lot of crazy people out there, and
small people.
Just going back to like the social media stuff and our kids, and you know, when we had our firstborn, we were like, nah, we're not going to give her an iPad, we're not going to give her a time, and we need a teacher, you know, like we have all these plans, but it's just the way it is now, you know. We bought her an iPad. You know, she's watching her iPad 24/7 at home now.
How old is she?
She's 4:25.
Oh yeah.
So
is that more like a babysitter thing, the iPad?
It's a savior, bro. You know, you want to watch the rugby, and then you watch the iPad. Don't disturb me, man. No, but it's and even at preschool, I think they try and avoid using a lot of the electronics in front of the kids, and which is a good thing, you know, but. I think when we looked at like some of the intermediates and you know, trying to plan for the future for the kids, it's like you know, you need in their starter pack, whatever they get, you need to buy this sort of iPad or this sort of tablet, or you know, it's that sort of stuff. We're like, fuck, this is just the way it is now. That's our life. The kids are going to be on it, but in saying that, you know, we should be stopping our kids from watching the YouTube and all that, because it's crazy on there too. But nah, man. I think for us as kids, you know, when we were growing up, we got the best. For me personally, like we got the best of both worlds, because we started with, you know, we weren't allowed to watch TV after school. Mm-hmm. We had to go outside, you know, go out and play, or finish your homework and then go out and play, get dirty, and when the light turns on, you know, make sure you're back inside and showered, or before dad gets home. And then phones started coming out and all the tablets and that. So we're, I think, before that era of the 2000 babies that started coming. Yeah, so we were quite lucky,
Millennials.
Yeah, that's it. And for yourself, you would have been the same thing. At a later age, you started learning how to use the your phone and all the electronics. But I don't know. It's a crazy. Oh, not a crazy, but it's an interesting time for our kids. To see where this goes.
I remember when the iPhone first came out, and I thought, how weird! It's just the screen. There's no buttons.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird. And I remember thinking, well, that's never gonna take off.
Yeah.
Because man, I was always into those flip phones.
Yeah.
The buttons, and I thought those were cool.
Bro, those are mean. Even I don't know if those flip phones, they were the Motorola.
Yeah. StarTech.
Yeah. And I always wanted one, but I knew I wasn't good at it. It's like, fuck, I seen everyone.
Because they had a cool aerial. You get the aerial. You use your teeth to do the aerial and then flip it over.
Just amazing how you can ring from this end on a mobile to someone else in another country. Yeah. So when you see that, I was like, whoa, amazing.
So you guys have a sports podcast. I forgot the name of it. What's the name?
Latched podcast. Yeah.
What does that mean? Because I'm always confused about that name.
When we started thinking about names, like we had quite a few. We first started with PM so the boys on our podcast, shout out to the boys, Moss, Mana, and Brands. We all went to college together. So we're in this one class, and our class was 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and that was our year. And then we've got a bunch of us that, in the chats, the boys just fucking banter and everything, we always, we contemplated starting a podcast or a sports one, because, it's always in the chat, always, everyone knows more than someone else, so we're like, oh, bro, your team's shit, fuck, you guys didn't make top 8, or, it's always going to be there, so we thought, oh, why don't we be funny and just trying to make something like that, and, hopefully it takes off, which it didn't. So that's how it started. And then the name itself, Latched, was to latch onto something or someone latching onto you. So we just said Latched, hopefully someone can latch onto us.
Oh,
latch.
right.
Not sexually, but...
I was thinking of a sport. What sport has a latch?
Yeah. And there was none. And we did have a touch team too. I played a lot of touch when we were younger, and we started a team off with, it's called the Latched Touch Team, a club. It's kind of died down because my brother, who's moved over to Aussie, used to run a small, not a small, but a little touch club out south with I think it was from under 8s, under 10s, and it just went up to under 14s, I think, before they moved over. But yeah, it was a club. We started off a men's touch team a while back. And we just used their name, just transferred over, and
makes sense.
Yeah. And plus, you try and think of these cool names, and you're never gonna find a cool name. And then you get lashing, and I didn't even know if it's a cool name, bro. I don't even know if the boys liked it, but I just put it out to the boys, and the boys are happy to run with it.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, though. I'm trying to figure out a name.
Yeah. Even starting a podcast again,
even the picture, what the logo is going to be and all that.
And if you look at ours, man, I'm changing it nearly every month. Oh, this looks nice, Oh, I like this design. You're trying to find something that's unique, the logo to your pod. But
I remember when I was designing our Rugby Union podcast, the Counter Ruck.
Yeah.
So what I did was I looked up terms in Rugby Union.
Oh, yes.
Looked at all the terms, everything.
Yeah.
From
that's clever.
From the ref to all the moves to everything, the positions.
Yeah.
Everything that's got to do with Rugby Union, I just looked at all the words and the counter ruck. Counter ruck, counter talking, back and forth, banter.
Makes sense, bro. It makes sense.
That's it. The counter ruck. I better get it before no one else. So what I do is I jump on Google or jump on Spotify and search for the Counter Ruck podcast. Doesn't come up. Oh yeah, sweet. go on some other platforms, search for it. The Cataracts Podcast. It doesn't come up. Oh, yeah, sweet. Then I got it. Because there were some names that I figured out. I go on Spotify and search for that name and heaps come up. So I was like, nah, it can't be that name. You know? So it's one of the tricks.
Well, that was
Is that falling?
Is it?
Some of the technical difficulties we have on the podcast now and then.
I think it's just me. It just follows me, all these sort of stuff, because it happens a lot on my podcast, eh?
You know why? Because you haven't got your matrix chair.
Oh.
Where's the matrix chair? Is that?
Oh, very nice. Bro, how that came across is, I was watching this podcast. Who was it? Oh, The Fighter and the Kid. Yeah. I saw them sitting on these chairs. Oh, I like that chair. And
Brendan Shaw.
and Kellen. Yeah,
Kellen.
Brian, I just saw
Brian Kellen.
Yeah. I just saw their podcast, and I like the setting of them sitting in this nice chair, wingback chair. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll have a look at it. I'll look it up on Trade Me. That was it. So I just found it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. That was the only one that was affordable. I would have liked a more darker color because it just doesn't make me look nice, but I got that anyway, bro. Just nice, comfortable chair which sits in the corner and it gathers all the clothes when I'm not sitting in it. So,
Oh, you gotta have these things,
Yeah.
To make it unique, make the podcast look.
Bro, going back to the Latched podcast.
Yeah.
There's when we thought about the name, it's like, boys, hey, sweet, bro, that's all good. Then I googled it. I was like, oh yeah, and what came up was if you Google it, if you're watching or listening to this, Google Latched Podcast, it'll come up with, I think, Latched Mama or something. Latched Mama. So it's about a lady talking about breastfeeding, latching on.
Oh, yeah.
So that was it, bro. And I was so stupid that I didn't Google it beforehand. I Googled after because you check your first podcast out, and then the boys are like, "Oh, where do you find your thing?" And I was like, "Oh, I just type in Latched Podcast, it'll come up." And Latched Podcast came up as Latched Mama or something, and like, "Hey, we only see this lady. What's going on?" There? I was like, "Oh, fuck!" So we had to just run with it. You make these decisions, and that's it.
You can change it.
Yeah. I think the boys are all good with it. Yeah, I was just trying to find that name. I think it was Latched something. Latched. Sorry guys. Shouldn't be doing this, but I'll see if Latched Mama Podcast. So if you type in Latched Podcast, it'll come up as Latched Mama, and that's not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because whoever runs that podcast, the lady that runs it, bro, she's got so many followers. So when you have that content or that amount of reach, and you have only 5 people watching or listening to our podcast, it's not going to make it anywhere in the search list.
I enjoy listening to you guys on the sports one because it's like something different.
Yeah,
it's your guys' point of view, and I like that.
Yeah. Oh, bro, it's so good because we don't all agree on like one thing, and that's what I think.
And you support different teams.
Yeah,
which is good too,
bro. And even to this day, the boys still give like the Blues shit, about the finals and how we have too many Blues players in the All Blacks. I was like, hey, it is what it is, bro. We're the best, second best. Because you support the Chiefs, eh? No. You Blues, eh? Blues, yeah.
Blues.
Who supports the Chiefs?
Roger.
Oh yeah. Listening to your guys, especially the sports, the rugby podcast. It's so good to hear. People's own like their opinion on how the game went, and every time throughout the Super. Even last night's game was a doozy, eh?
Oh man, last night's game. You know what? I actually turned it off when it was 30-13.
Bro. Same, bro.
Because
my heart was like...
Because I was late. I was like, oh no, in fact they're gonna win. I went to sleep. I left it on, but I just fell asleep. And then for some reason I woke up about maybe 2 a.m. just for some reason, and I just took my phone and looked, and there was all this chatter on the chat.
Yeah,
like it was chatter like, oh, that was a close one, or like blah blah blah. What an idiot! And I was thinking, close one. I went to sleep. It was 30-13, and I looked at the score. It was they only won by so much. Oh,
bro.
And then I watched the replay. So what was your opinion on that last call? Because that was to the rules, right? That was
and to be honest, he was warned the back end of their first half.
This was
you know him because he had
Bernard Foley. Yeah,
Bernard Foley. Yeah, he was warned. Like back end of the first because he had 2 in the bin, and he was trying to slow it down on the restarts, and the rest said, "Hey, come on," you know. So it wasn't just then, and yes, the refs playing it to the letter of the law, but at the same time, we copped our fair share of some bad penalties, or in this case, like let's just talk about Bernard Foley. He was doing the same thing, taking his time in the first half, and again, if you look at the second half where there was a forward pass, he hurried up that kick. He knew the letter. He knew the law.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're gonna check something, you have to check it way before he kicks it, and he kicked it over.
Mm-hmm.
So he was fast to take that kick. Now he's picking and choosing, and then he comes to the end. It was a tight one, and I don't think many refs will call that.
Mm.
I think he's the only one. I think they would have just played on and just let him kick the ball out, even if it's 39 seconds later.
It was absolutely the right call.
Yeah, it is. But I think what they're trying to say in the over all the chat groups and online, sorry, is that they screwed him. But actually, I think it was a fair game. He gave us shit calls and he gave them shit calls. So it doesn't matter the end part. It was during the game. He was playing to the letter of the law, but throughout the game he was probably consistently shit. Or both.
I was listening to the radio on the way home, and they had the little sports thing, and the guy and the commentator was saying, "Oh, there's the right way of doing it, and then there's what he should be doing." I was going, "What? Like he should have not called it, should have let it play out." But the rules are the rules. Like he's not the only person that was talking on the radio that said that.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying that, Kiwis and Australians.
Yeah,
they're saying, Kiwis are saying it, but they'd rather win the game.
Yeah.
But at that crucial time of the game, at that 1 minute left or whatever it was, that crucial time, and make that call, or we just leave it because it's a close game. But rule is the rule.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anything less, anything more.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, bro. You got to look at when he was told. There was enough warning there.
It was 39 seconds, apparently.
He stopped the time and then warned him, or something like that. He stopped the time, warned him, and he said, "Look, man, you got to go," or something. Even his own players were saying, "Kick the ball, man." And they probably just wanted to kick his head after that. But, and he said, well, when he had his interview with One News, apparently,
I couldn't understand that. I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what he was talking about. And the girl interviewing him, so can you elaborate on that? What do you mean? And he wouldn't give a straight answer.
Because he knew he fucked up, eh? He knew he fucked up. So just take it on the chin. But yeah, you can see both sides of the story, eh? If you're Australian, fuck, why do you have to be so... why do you have to use the rule book now? Like, what? You want to put the rule away or something? That sort of stuff. So, but vice versa, if you would have seen us in that position, I don't think any of our... To be honest, I don't think any of our kickers would have taken that long.
No.
Because, I don't think there's anyone in that team that likes to... Well, I'd like to say that. I don't know if they personally do that, but just seeing them, they play their game. They kick it out. Don't delay. Yeah, you got to play the game, but not to that point where he's just saying, come on, to the forwards. Say, come up to the line. Like, kicking it out is not going to affect them. They're setting up for their line out.
Yeah.
And he's, I don't know what's, having them line up to chase the ball out, like, that's not going to make a difference, right? That makes no sense the way, everyone knew he needed to kick that ball, even if it was 1 minute left. Because I that's all they needed to do, is kick it out. It would have been game over if they won their line out. But I think he was just too scared, maybe. I don't know.
But then I heard him say on the interview the crowd was too loud, or I didn't know what was going on. Like that's a communication problem, right? And not knowing the law, like, because everyone on the chat, on the boys chat, everyone was pushing up the law, the part of the law. Man, I saw on the chat, like, came up on a couple of chats, came up on social media. The law has come up, and it says you gotta kick it. You gotta hurry up and kick it. It says you can't waste time. Yeah, intentionally waste time. Yeah, like if you gotta kick it, you gotta go kick it.
He did that in the end of the second half, end of the first half. He was intentionally just trying to use the time up because he had 2 in the bin. He didn't want all that. Obviously, as someone in his class of.
But did the ref call him for that?
Yeah, he told him to hurry. He goes, hey, hurry up, like, or whatever. Don't know if he said hurry up, there's exact word, but he did warn him. He's like, no, you need to play on now.
Just gave him a warning. Yeah. And then
so he had warnings prior to this, to him being, getting that reverse the call.
So maybe because he didn't get a penalty the first time, he was
trying to, but he.
But then, you know what? If you're gonna kick it out and get a line out, you're gonna have the ball back anyway, and you're gonna waste the time. And
that's my way of thinking.
I mean, it wasn't like it was 10 minutes left. It was like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes left.
Yeah, like let's say you have 2 minutes and you kick it out. The play is still going.
Yeah. So
you kicked it out. You kick it your hardest. Obviously, the ball's gonna be there, but kick it your hardest so they, the All Blacks players can go out and whatever. I don't know, but just kick the ball.
You waste more time walking there. You waste more time doing line out.
And you put that back in the forwards. Leave it to the forwards to do that, because now it's in their court. The ref will say, "Hey, hurry up," or "Stop the time," and most probably he would. He'll get to the line out and say, "Stop the time." But those are all in hindsight. Like, this is after you should have just kicked the ball. Your whole team was, your whole backline was like, hurry up.
I was impressed with Australia's Pacific Islander players. Like Leota, before he got injured, he was awesome.
Solid,
Pete Samuel, man, he was awesome, man. And Valentini,
yeah. I think they've been doing consistent throughout all their international games, That the Island boys, especially And I said this to the boys last night. I was like, I just get this feeling every time Bernard Foley plays, we're gonna beat them. Doesn't matter what, And I don't know we're beating them because he's been 3 years off. He's been off. He's been overseas and getting that call up. But
who's the guy they usually have?
Lolesil.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But
because I don't even know what's happening with Quay Cooper. He's just not wanted.
He's injured. I think he did his calf.
I really likes him. They really likes him.
I'd have him, and if he was injured, I would have him and Lucille. Lucille's still learning. Young fella, they need someone like this to carry on the Wallabies,
Oh, he wouldn't wait like that. He would have kicked it out straight away.
Nah, man. I just think if he knew what he was doing, so you just let the ref the game. That's it. And then the getting the scrum, just the last few minutes of the game, until Geordie scored their try, was like, fuck, my heart was pounding. I was like, up until that point where he was kicking the ball, I was like, I was logged out, bro. I didn't want to watch the rest of the game. Sitting there, I was like, fuck. Then he, called that reverse the play. I was like, oh, okay. Because what was your? I'm not too sure if you watched the end part where we got a penalty, maybe 22 out towards probably 5-10 meters to the right of the post. easy kick, draw the game. But the ABs chose to go for the line,
which led to that penalty.
Which led to that penalty. What was your take on that?
I think they had to do it.
Yeah,
I think
that's the All Black way, right?
Yeah, they had to do it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you needed to be a rugby player or an avid All Black supporter, but that's always been the All Black way. But no, I shouldn't be. But I'm always in those posts where a lot of people are like, oh, if the All Blacks wanted to play, they should have just kicked that ball into kicked it over and taken the 3 and drawn the game. But that's never been our way of playing. Way before, I don't know when, but just the way All Blacks play. Then I just thought, fuck, this is the way we should play. And I don't know if Kane would have done the same thing if he was on. I just reckon that way of being, I guess, aggressive in that last piece, even though we lost it. But I still commend the boys for taking their line out. Like, we lost it. Yeah, fuck, who cares? We're trying to go for the win. That's it. We lost. All good. But, man, I think that call there was the best call, even though we won now. But that's the best call.
Yeah. There's been other times. I remember the Blues doing it. Like, the Blues had a chance. They were down. They were down by 3 points. And they had a penalty. Right between the goalposts, like not far out. Yeah. So if they kick or tie the game, or go for the win. And they chose to tie the game and get the point, the bonus point at least. So
yeah. See, I think there's different. I don't know if you're probably that type to go for. Let's go for it, man. Let's go push for that win.
Because that's attitude, man.
Yeah, that is like confidence to get over and get that try. Yeah,
that's hard too.
Yeah,
that's hard too.
And if you were any other team, let's say you're Australia and you were in that position to kick the ball and get and draw, they would have done it. No other team would have done that against the All Blacks. They would have just taken the kick and been safe, get a draw, fine. But not the All Blacks. Let's go for this. Let's go for the line out.
Well, they needed it too because Fozzie's job's still on the line. All that drama between him and Sam Cane, they're getting killed for the public throughout New Zealand. Well, whatever kind of scenario they had against Ireland was a failed against Ireland. They lost against South Africa the first game. South Africa? Yeah. And then they beat them again after that. Then they lost against Argentina, which was another low. It's been up and down for Fozzie and the New Zealand public, but they're still on top of the table. So it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Yeah. What are we doing here? Why are we? Because obviously everyone wants Razor to be the coach. Yeah. But he's still hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you guys feel about the whole situation with All Blacks.
I think
it's not the best team, All Blacks team.
For me, and I've said this so many times, is we can keep Kane, but I don't think he's our captain, man. I don't think he's our captain for the World Cup. Good player. He's only gotten better because he's always got a start in our international games. Last night's game with Sotutu at 8, he looks slow because he's only been playing the local, what is it, ITM? NPC, sorry. Yeah. Oh, ITM, so NPC rugby. But international is such a level above anything else. So his playing last night, his decision making wasn't probably the best, Sotutu. But we need to either Ari at 7 or 6, have Papali'i out there and have Sotutu or Sawakula. So, like, we need that in there because I don't think he's delivering. Yeah, I don't think he's delivering the best as a captain. As a player, I think he doesn't need that stress of being you're basically not only captaining All Blacks, you're captaining New Zealand, the public, you're our captain, but seeing him like that, still a good player, but I don't think he's our captain for leading into this World Cup. there's quite a few others that are, well, not a few, couple that should take the reins. But I think Fozzie's made that decision, and he's going to stick with it. He's going to go to, he's just going to follow through with Kane, unless something drastic happens, he gets injured or something, I don't know.
Because when did Sam Whitelock lose the captaincy?
I think as soon as Fozzie took over, eh? Because he got injured. Because he got injured and he was out last. Oh, gosh, I can't remember when.
Oh,
then when he got injured, it was his neck, so he was out for ages. And that's when I think Whitelock became the captain.
Because Kieran Reid was gone.
Yeah. So now.
And then they gave it back to Kane when he came back.
Yeah.
But Kane's not the same since before his injury. Yeah.
He's just, maybe it's just not for him. Like, give him game time down the bottom, or, drop him for a couple of games and give, like, Papali'i or Akira, just give them more game time for them so they can build into a bit better players. Because if you're not getting game time, you're not gonna produce, I guess, 100% in your footy. I think that's happened with Satutu last night. Not making excuses because he's a Blues player, but I think that's it now. But a big miss from old Ari Sevilla last night as well. Waiting for the birth of his third.
Is that why he didn't play? Oh,
yeah.
He's got to be in the starting lineup. That guy, he's solid there.
Would you give him captaincy?
I would. I would. But there's other guys too. Like, you know what? I'll give captaincy to Brodie Retallick too.
Yeah.
Isaiah Whitelock or Adi Sphere. Those three.
Yeah.
Those three are on top of my list. And Kane will be number 4 on my list.
Yeah. I probably won't even pick Kane. I'll chuck him on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you need maybe we can't question his hunger because he's always going out there and giving 100, but maybe that 100 that he's giving is not the best for All Blacks, He needs 150 to be in the team, So we have good players out there. Just, I don't know if Fozzie's giving them a shot. And like that call on Pedofeta, like there's little things like that.
Oh man, that sucked, man. What are you gonna do in the last 50 seconds? And the only thing you can do is secure your services for 3 years, if any services you're gonna get.
I was saying, man, that's a dog act. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna go on and high five everyone and just stand there and woo, game over.
And then that's you for 3 years.
Yeah, you're gone, man. And I if I was a coach, I would have either, when we were, because we lost to Ireland, right? They were just too good. They were too good. Even last year or when we went overseas to play them, they were just above. We plateaued we just plateaued, and we're at this level that we just couldn't compete with all these guys. The same thing happened again, like, coming over here, Ireland winning the series. We didn't offer anything, and then heading into South African game, shit, man, we had nothing to give them. Mm-hmm. And then, like, there was no game plan, there's no switch in the way the All Blacks were playing. I don't know if they had a game plan that was similar to the way they were losing, but it just wasn't there, eh? Yeah, they pulled off a win to save Fozzie's job, but I think with the change in Smith and Ryan, is it? Yeah. I think that's helped a bit because tight 5, bro, they've been beasts since he's been on. So having Ryan there has totally helped our forwards, especially our tight 5. And see the go forward we get now for our backs. We have the most lethal back line, I think, in the world. But we've just never been able to, I think, utilize them, properly. You know what I mean?
I think that's the red herring though between the Australian game we've seen, because Australia, New Zealand play similar kind of styles, and if you go back to the Ireland game, you can't play that kind of game with Ireland. The way Ireland played, they shut us down.
Manhandled us, eh?
They shut us down.
Yep.
Australia doesn't play that game.
Yeah.
Australia and New Zealand, they're similar styles, especially now with the Islanders on both teams, you know. So I think it's dangerous for us to get on now. Yeah, we beat Australia like the way we played. We're awesome. We're running around everywhere. Well, we're not going to run around like that against Ireland, you know. Yeah. I think if Ireland comes and plays us again, I think they're going to shut us down again.
Yeah,
we can't even get those.
Ireland, France, they beat us in all areas of rugby when we played them. They were physically like aggressive, bro. We just couldn't. You know, the runs that we're doing, we're like breaking the lines. You know, getting over the advantage line, and so in the South Africa, Argentina, and Australia. That never happened against Ireland because they were just manning up. They were smoking us. And we needed big players to help us. And we only had Ari Savea, who, you know, he'll fight any tackle. Doesn't matter what game. But we needed big men to do big, like something that big, like Sawakula, who's, you know, a beast. We needed those go forward runs.
He's another one that got the 3 years. 3 year ticket.
Jump on last 5 minutes, bro. Jump in the scrum and you get your try. Oh, jump off. Go back to NPC, buddy. Go back to NPC and you'll be alright. You'll be alright.
Would you bring RTS in? Was it too?
Well, if you look at the sense up hearing, you know, Tupaya's gone. Havili with the head knock.
True.
So
he
know
will
that
be. He will be caught up there.
Oh man, I hope Fozzie does do it. You know, and I think he gets a lot of slack too. That dude saying, oh, you know, he hasn't done his time down the bottom. You know, he hasn't done his time in NPC. Oh, he was selected for the All Blacks for something. You know, he must be doing something right. I reckon he should. I reckon give him a shot, whether it's in the centre or chuck him in on the wing. You know, just give him a shot to a chance to prove. Definitely not at the back because I don't know if he has a kicking game. But he should be there.
Yeah,
should be. Eh?
He's an interesting one because I saw all these offers he's getting now from NRL. I think the Roosters offered them some money, like to come back, a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, he's a true professional, eh? That dude.
It's almost like they go, oh, why you play NBC? Come back, NRL. They don't want you.
We'll pay you. Plus, they probably need him, eh? His experience too. The Roosters. Well, they have to wait till next year.
You know, I remember watching the game last night. I watched the first half, and then until they got up to 30-13, then I turned it off. But man, when I was watching, Sonny Boy Williams was doing the commentary.
Yes,
I mean, you know, I love the brother, but I don't think commentary is his thing. Eh?
Yeah, he's like
it's kind of awkward, eh?
Yeah,
I feel he's I don't know. I feel like he's out of place, especially when he talks.
Yeah,
is he paying to be on there, or are they paying him to be on there?
Yeah. I think he has a different style compared to like the Australian way. It's I don't know what it is, but yeah, it just feels like not him. Like we know that's him outside of rugby because that's how he talks, but maybe it doesn't fit that way of rugby. You know, I don't know. It
seems off.
Yeah,
to me. Like it's not really hitting. Because there was a part when he was outside with what's the old Sevens, the Māori guy,
Tanana.
Carl Tanana.
Yeah,
he was outside and he was teasing him about his shoes, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
he was because all Carl Tanana said was, "Oh, you're looking sharp there, bro," and then Sonny Boy just comes with this joke about his shoes and getting the camera to come down to his shoes, talking about his shoes.
So it looked.
But it was like
out of
it was out of context. I was like, where's this coming
like,
from?
Well, what do you even mean, eh? Like, doesn't make sense for them to do that sort of stuff. Like he's trying, maybe.
Yeah, that's awkward to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching the guy, like putting my hand on my eyes, like, oh, come on, Sonny, like, come on, man. You're like, I don't know, because I'm not good at doing that too. But
Yeah.
you know, it just seems awkward.
Yeah.
But even that's not the only place. Like these other times, he's
Yeah.
been on
Yeah.
commentary and like some of the things he says.
The commentary stuff, like as a person, I think, you know, we know what he's like. He's good.
Yeah.
But, you know, in this realm of the commentary stuff, I think, yeah, maybe it's not for, maybe they're just not using him. Oh, actually, because, you know, I think he's tried everything. Yeah? He's actually been on the seat, being sideline. Well, that's what he was doing too. But yeah, I don't know. I feel the same way too. He's just doesn't look organic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it's not himself.
You feel for him when he does that stuff. Yeah, it's not like we're trying to question his commentary, but we feel bad for him because he's done that sort of stuff. I get you. It's like that sort of stuff, bro. It's cringy as eh?
It's cringy.
Cringy.
I'm sorry, SBW man. It's cringy, man.
But can't take away you're the best, bro. You're the best, man.
You're the best, man. But maybe not at commentary. Maybe.
Yeah, I think they probably need to put him in a role. I don't know, away from the mic. I don't know. Yeah,
because I almost want my commentators to maybe talk a little technical.
Yeah,
but there was a time when they asked him, "Oh, we're going down to SPW on the sidelines. What's going on? Why are you feeling?" And all that.
Yeah,
and they go down to him, and he's talking about the obvious. He's saying something that's obvious, like
we know already.
Like, anyone can say that. People.
Study. Yeah, we know that already.
No rugby people can even say that.
Yeah. You need to like break it down, like he should have kicked the ball out. 39 seconds. We saw that too, bro. But technically, you know, I think the same. There's quite a few times. I don't know, maybe they're just being inclusive of the, you know, Pacific Islanders and that. Because they had their chick too, their Fijian chick, is it?
Oh, there's other times when she shuts him down too. Have you seen those times?
No.
There's times when they're talking after the game. They have the little talk and he's saying his opinion on something. And then she shut him down. I don't think so. I think blah, 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 blah. She brings in all these things.
But she's good though.
She's good, yeah.
Because she...
I forgot her name.
She's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I don't like what's his name? Oh, I'm not gonna say I don't like. What's the Māori fella's name?
Morgan
Turanui.
Yeah.
Yeah, even some of his stuff, like it's a bit cringy, but I think he's getting better, eh? I don't know.
I've seen the Fijian girl shut Sonny Bill down on some of his opinions, and I've seen. Oh, there was one when I watched, and he was talking to Quade Cooper.
Yeah,
but they were talking like they're out there in the pub having a
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was talking normally and like that, and it was fun. But at the same time, I could see
do your job, bro.
These Barangis were like going, "What are you guys talking about?" Like,
yeah. Like sometimes it's not needed, eh? Just stick to like, hey, bro, like, what's your recovery like, you know, or you know, how's your kicking going, and then you can't do the bro jokes anymore. Hey, like it doesn't hit, you know. Sapuso.
Yeah, he was doing those. He was doing those.
Hey, man, Quade, you know, how's the injury there? That sort of stuff, you know. How's the injury? Yeah. I'll shop, bro. You know, that, you can't. I don't think you can do that, eh? It doesn't work.
But see, you know, we're talking about it and we're laughing. That's a good thing. Like it's entertaining, right? Yeah. It's awkward. It's hard to watch, hard to listen, but it's entertaining because that's who he is, man.
Yeah, and you can't take that away from him.
We can't take it away from him.
You can't take it away.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
it's not the norm. We're not used to like our people.
Straight to the point stuff, not like beat around the bush and have these like bro chats. But maybe that's what they're trying to target, eh? Who knows?
The inclusivity thing you talk about, they're trying to.
Hey, and I'm not saying, Sonny, you can jump on the podcast anytime soon and maybe elaborate on what they're trying to get out of you. But yeah,
I read his book. It's pretty cool.
Oh, eh?
Yeah, I read his book. It's how he talks about how he grew up out Mount Albert and his older brother.
Oh yeah, apparently his older brother was a beast too, eh? Beast of a player.
Yeah, he talks about it. But he talks about how when he played league when he was young, he was always against older boys.
Yeah.
So he was used to the men playing men.
Yeah.
He was a kid playing with men, sort of thing. But to get scouted at a young age to go over.
No, it's the first of his kind, man. To bring in his style of playing. Yeah.
But then I read you know how they brought out they announced the Tongan Rugby League team.
Yeah.
Did you see the?
Yeah, it's a good lineup, eh?
And that's a scary lineup, eh?
I still think
that wasn't the lineup that they played last day.
Nah,
when they lost to
New Zealand. They've got I think probably 90%. Maybe don't question me. Don't quote me on that. But there's I think a few outsiders that have just the way some of these Tongan players are playing in the NRL, they're fucking beasts. And Fafita might be getting the call up. I don't know if his name, but
both of them Andrew in there.
Yeah. See, like good lineup, but I don't think their spine is not the best there. Maybe it might come right, come World Cup, but if you're gonna have the same spine that played against the Kiwis, it's gonna be tough to pull it off. But so in saying that, they can pull it. They've pulled it off, last year or a couple of years back against Australia and New Zealand. So yeah, it's that spine is what I'm questioning anyway. Whether it's going to be a good one or because they'll still have Katoni in there as well.
Stags is playing, yeah.
But at 7, is it 6? Oh no, Talatau Amon, Amoni. I think he'll still be in. So they got the same halves. I don't know if it's they'll do well, but if they come up against a New Zealand, they have to play out of their skin with that squad anyway.
When you boys are talking on your sports on the latch, like it's cool how you guys try to cover all the sports.
Yeah, we try, but I think at the end of it, we go back to what we know: rugby and league.
Rugby and league.
Yeah,
but those are the two main ones.
Yeah, you try and include everything that's happening around the world, but when you don't pay attention to it as much as you should, it doesn't give it that justice. Like if you're watching tennis. I don't know much about it, but you try and cover it, and you can see it on like how Sonny Bill does it. You're talking about tennis, and there's someone that's a tennis freak or a professional. He's like, what's this guy talking about, bro? So you try and cover it, but as much as you can do, we always divert back to rugby and league.
When I was growing up, like it was rugby and league and cricket.
Yeah,
because cricket was one of the sports we watched as a family.
Yeah.
Especially when Richard Hay was playing those days. Like, that's always been a sport in our family to watch. Like cricket in summer, rugby in winter, And I lost track of cricket a while ago. Yeah. But a lot of my friends, they still follow cricket. Yeah. And they always have. Still nice. To this day. Like, I only remember the old days. But I don't really know the Black Caps now, sort of thing. I haven't been really following them, but they always remind me when they talk about it because they know everything about the bowlers and who's playing and the Black Caps, everything. Yeah, like they're knowledgeable with all that stuff. And when I hear them talking about it, I feel left out. But I also know that it was a sport I used to watch hard out back in the day, and I always think, man, I should have just kept up. Yeah, so I'm reminded that that's a sport too that should be up there with league and rugby. Yeah. And as Islanders, it's funny because, I always think, man, guys, we should do a cricket podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Islanders talking about cricket. Because that's like something the bargains will go, hey, these guys don't know. Yeah. But we do. Yeah. It's one of those sports that not really talked about, but we understand and know.
Yeah. It's there, but it's not. It's we're thinking about it, we watch it, but we don't actually like get together and have that sort of... Yeah, and same thing, bro. I think we grew up, my older brothers used to play it for school, so we always used to go watch them. Same thing, but I wasn't too into it because I never played it, but I watched, I don't know if you probably played it when you were younger, but watching it on TV and watching, just our local... Not only that, sorry. A few of my cousins used to like be harder, and they used to tell me, even the backyard cricket at home for over the Christmas period. We always,
Well, that was a sports we played because there was no social media and no computer games. All we had maybe Atari, or Sega, Master System 2 or something like that. But then, normally you come home and play on the street. Did you ever live on the cul-de-sac?
No, because we had a reserve. Like at the back of our house.
So all the kids go play.
Yeah, and then we just all went to the park and we just played, while my brothers and that will go serious, they're fucking, even though we're little kids, but they'll still fucking try and take us out, But no, because it was a fun game to play, even if he said like hit and roll. Those were the days where, just try. It was so good because everybody was involved, right? Like all the family were involved. Everyone from the adults to the kids. But like going back to the podcast and sharing sports, there's quite a few of my the boys on there that actually play it too, like the indoor one. I think one of the brands plays I think they have like a tournament or something that he was having a chat about. I said, bro, throw me in there, I'll just come for the day. But it's quite he actually knows his shit about cricket, but I don't talk about it because I don't want to say something that doesn't make sense, maybe like similar to what Sonny Bell's doing. Yeah. But he knows, he loves this cricket. Yeah, a couple of the boys, Moss and Brand, but just bringing it up is probably another question.
See, I would actually get into it again, just to, because I remember really liking that game. And I just lost it for some reason, not going there. Maybe because NBA and all his other different sports. Yeah. But then I want to get back to cricket because this is something I used to love. I used to love watching and I knew all about. It's funny because I can't do tests for some reason. It's just too long. Yeah. But then
that's everyone. You want like a short game.
The one day is I can do.
Yeah.
And the T20s, those are brilliant. When they first came out, I was like, man,
great marketing,
This is the best version of the game, man. You just smack it.
Yeah. And unless you're like what do you call it? What do you call those people that love the game? You love cricket. You know a lot about the test. These little things that they're doing here, which my cousin knows. Like all these terms they use in these tests. I was like, see what he's doing this? It's because 200 bowls down the road. They're just trying to shape up the ball and like all these little things. I was like, yeah, okay, but so when are they gonna play the T20? That's what I'm. Because you can watch it within a day. Because I think everyone's attention span when it comes to sport, it's either those fast, quick, get it over and done. If it's done within an hour or 2 hours, all good. Yeah. But if it's going past a day, log out, mate, log out.
But my mates, because they watch Test cricket. See, and I tell them like
pure fans, eh?
How can you watch that? Yeah. That's what they say, bro. Man, Test cricket, that's pure cricket, man. That's weird. That's man, you can't get. That is cricket. That is the real cricket.
You can't like T20 if you don't like, you're disrespecting us if you watch T20. If you don't watch, that's the sort of stuff. Eh?
Yeah. But you're right. Your cousin now explains shaping the ball through the, it's a progression. Eh?
Yeah. And he goes, it'll be different once this is the first ball, but just watch it towards like the second and third. I'm like, bro, I don't think I'm gonna watch like any of these balls getting thrown, bro. And I still don't get it, bro. I don't get the way the scoring happens, and they have. I don't know the rules around the test.
Yeah, the test. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it because they're bowling on this day and then they're batting on this day. I'm like, but how do you score? Like, how do you win? New Zealand was close, but on day 20. No. On day 20, they actually got 10 wickets. Just log out, man. Log out.
Yeah. Nah, I think I can go as far as 1 day.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try again test. Yeah. But I'm on that level where I just want to do it just for the fun of it. I just want to get into the intricacies of the sport and all those little things. So you can be like talking about it and you be the man, you know, kind of.
Yeah, you can have those chats. Like you can come back to me and say, "Oh, you know what? You're talking about the balls." You know how Australia had the sandpaper? You know why they did that? Because they wanted to spin that way. And bro, it's actually a good sport, man. And my cousin, the same one that was teaching me about all these fucking intricacies, the same one they said, bro, you've never been to a test unless you've been there. And I'm like, if I can't watch it on the TV, how can I enjoy it when I'm sitting there and like, oh, bro, different atmosphere, the amount of the rubbish that you took to all the players, or I don't know, he was getting into all these small talk. I was like,
One thing I like about going to a test or going to a game, like just how much people have fun in the stand.
Yeah, and
like
see, that's probably it.
Drinking all day and getting drunk.
And these tests, and that's probably it. He's probably like, off his head and having, that's probably it.
Go with your chili bin. And
and maybe it's probably because, they go as a group. It's more better when you're in a group because, you're probably not even watching the game. You're just giving each other shit, and a few hours later you're drunk, and that's it. That's what everyone cares about.
Nah, it's one of those sports that I think we can dominate, if we played it. Like, who's the one that just left Test cricket? He wrote the book. Can't believe I forgot his name.
Oh, Taylor.
Fuck, Taylor.
Yeah. Also.
Like, did you hear his book, how he was talking about the racism?
But
he felt when he first came black cap?
Yeah.
And did you hear what he said? Like, he was at the changing rooms, but he didn't want to name who it was. But one of his teammates came and goes, "Oh, so are you?" Because he heard he's half Samoan, half white. And so which is the good half?
Yeah.
And he goes, "What? Like, he didn't understand."
Yeah.
He goes, "Nah, it's right. I'm joking." Walked away.
I think that's everywhere with these. Like, experiencing that sort of stuff, probably, now that he's a named player, like he's one of the best to ever do it for New Zealand. He had to go through all that, at probably the peak of all these Palangis playing the best and having this half Samoan in the game, eh? Pretty cheeky of that guy who ever done it, though. Like, to even mention it, eh? But I'm sure, like, with that racism shit, it was normal back then, And some sports, I think it was just normal for them to do that sort of stuff, because people think that maybe Islanders are not any good at like these white people sports, eh? But you're wrong, mate. We're good.
Who's down in lives in South Island? And you guys?
Oh, my brother, Mana. Yeah, he's in Timaru.
Where's that?
Timaru.
Oh, that's below Christchurch.
Yeah.
Is that between Christchurch and Otago?
All I know is it's below Christchurch. It's about 3 hour drive.
Oh, right.
Yeah, 3 hour drive to Timaru, and it's just before you get to Timaru. Yeah, probably like maybe a 45-minute drive for last. But yeah, no, he's been down there for a while now.
Did he go down for work?
He went down for rugby first.
Oh, yeah.
So he went down went down for rugby, but at the same time they were giving a job too. Out of all places, but he went down. I think first year kind of liked it, maybe, and then moved his family down there.
Mm.
Yeah, now she's been there forever now.
Because it's like, these rural areas is a lot cheaper than Auckland. A lot cheaper. Houses must be cheap as,
Yeah, he's always telling me that too. Like, because it's not a place where, if you're an Aucklander, you wouldn't want to move out of Auckland unless you're retiring, I guess, you just, for me, you're so used to the hustle and bustle of Auckland.
Yeah.
When you lose that, you go into the rural areas. Like, yeah, when you
might as well just go back to the islands.
Yeah,
if you want to.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I thought, I don't know what. And looking back at it now, it's working for him and his family. You know, his little ones are doing well. You know, the 2 kids. But I don't know what attracted him at the beginning, like going there with balls. Maybe he doesn't really talk about it, but I knew he was going down for rugby and work.
Did he say he was for Islanders down there?
Well, there's a lot, bro. There's a lot of Tongans, a lot of Samoa. Yeah, there's quite a few, man. If you look at their rugby teams, there's quite a few. Not only his team, but all the other South Canterbury teams are filled with Islanders. Can't make it anywhere else, bro. If you're full of, I'm not being racist, but if you've got a whole team of white, the Palangi, they think you're gonna.
I think
match.
I think rugby around New Zealand now is mostly Pacific Islanders, like the NRL.
Yeah, that's because they have a different level of rugby. Even though you need the clever the white people, you need those clever ones, but
the Barretts of the world.
Yeah. You always find a gym like Mo'unga.
Yeah. Because because Oamaru was not far from there.
Yeah,
Oamaru's got heaps of Islanders.
Yeah. And when my brother was saying, he sometimes they pick a lot of or scout a lot of the Islanders from their homeland, like Samoa, Tonga. They actually go there and have a look for players that are keen to come over, and because they've got work there and there's a lot of work to be done down there, so why not bring them over? That's what you were saying. Really good too. Like they're actually making South Canterbury teams, and going on to professional, I guess. But I don't know. That's not for me, man. I think last time I went down there, man, it was so quiet. It was so like
boring.
Yeah, you can say that. But like all I could think about was having a drink. So I'll probably get depressed if I went to them now. It was good visiting them.
Must be cold in the winter though.
Yeah, we were saying like below 0. Yeah, for him. But he's enjoying it. He's I think he's coaching the South Canterbury team, the B team. So him and I think there's a few of them from the club. So he's still enjoying it. So good on him, staying there.
I know what you mean by the hustle and bustle, man. Because I've gone and lived in Samoa for a bit and come back. But yeah, when I think about because I know that how homes are real expensive in Auckland.
Yeah,
and but if you go down the line, it's much cheaper, like half the price, or maybe But I don't know, man. I'm like you, man. I wouldn't go. I'd rather go back to the islands than go down.
Yeah,
if I wanted to be remote,
Even like going back to the islands just to visit family. Like it's a beautiful place to visit, beautiful place to see the hidden parts of the islands where you would never get to experience here. But at the same time, it's just a holiday. That's it. It would never be a place where I go and okay, maybe I have different thinking when I'm 50 or when I'm turning 60 or whatever. But yeah, it's just won't be for me. It's not for me to. Good place to visit. That's it. It's not a place you'll spend the rest of your life, eh? Yeah.
How was the travel when you guys went over to Fiji, like the borders and that? Cause we finished the COVID thing now. It seems no more masks, no more mandates.
Bro, as soon as you know the funny thing is once you come out of the airport in Fiji, it's just normal, bro. Nobody's wearing masks. It's not it's not pushed or I don't know what they're. But yeah, it was. Bro, nobody's wearing masks. It just felt normal, and I liked it. I liked because we were still here. You have to wear mask if you're on public transport or all these rules. But when you go to Fiji, it was just that normality, back to just being whatever you do. There's no rules around it. People were just doing that. But bro, it's such a lovely place to visit, and for us, when you have kids, you take your kids there. It's at the end of it, it's all about the kid. If they enjoy it, you kind of enjoy it. If you don't set yourself up to look after the kids and enjoy yourself, on a holiday you want to have a good drink. So you take your kids out, take them to the pool all day, and then you let them sleep 7 hours later, you're drunk, you know. But that was good. Everything's back to normal, man. In other countries, especially Fiji, man. In all the, I think when they opened their borders, there's quite a lot of tourists there. They were just, I don't know. No, they weren't. It was open. So the tourists there was so many. It was good to see. If just talking to the locals, it's like, man, it's so good to see a lot of people coming back because, you know, that's how we make our bread and butter, you know.
Yeah.
Even we also went over to Sa to see our family members there too, and it's kind of sad because you see a lot of the shops are all closed down. The ones that you normally see, you know, like they were open when the last time you went. It's now closed, and it's just forced people to either move away from the island and make money there, or, you know, they have to find other means to make money. But you know, knowing that it's open, knowing that the islands are open to the public, it's just a lot better for these islanders, these small islands that rely on tourism.
Because I think Samoa was going to announce 2 more airlines they want to partner with to come there. So I don't know what those 2 airlines were. I saw on the Herald, but I hope it's Jetstar.
Bro, and you know what's so crazy is that in New Zealand, charging like an arm and a leg just to fly there and fly back, man, it's sad, man.
Did you fly in New Zealand?
No, we actually flew Fiji Airways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we stop in Fiji and then fly out to stop over in Fiji and then to Sa. It was so much cheaper than flying in New Zealand one way.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, it was like maybe $200-$300 cheaper. Oh, not even that, because we were quite lucky. Well, not lucky, but we were meant to fly. Oh, we flew in August, but based on the fact that we'll be doing quarantine there. But
true.
Yeah, because we didn't know whether it was going to open or not, so we booked our tickets because you know, the old lady was a bit sick, so like, you know, we planned the trip to go, so we were going to go there in quarantine. And
how long was the quarantine?
I think it was like 7 days. It was meant to be.
But you guys didn't do it.
They opened the border.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, I think in August sometime they announced there was a big announcement coming up, but we didn't plan on it being open. We just planned on it going over there to make a visit, see, and then come back home, but do 7-day quarantine. And then we were just lucky enough that I think maybe a week out before we were departing, Samoa announced, bro, it's open, come over. And I was like, oh, quite lucky. But still, man, it's sad to see that quite a few of the businesses are like, you know, closed. But hopefully, you know, with all this, the border being open, it works out for them. And it was so cool. You know, it was you know how you're in the islands and you see like the locals selling on the side of the road, and it was
the barbecues.
Yeah. That you know, I wanted to eat it. I'm that type. I can eat the barbecue. It's all good. From my aunties and that they were there, they were like, no, don't eat it yet again. I was like, but it's food, you know, and we're helping them. But I don't know. If they weren't there, I probably would have eaten it. So food is always good over there, back in the islands, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know what love they put into it, but it's like, it's so nice, man.
Some of the barbecue places, like, you gotta eat it during the day. Like, if you go at night, it's been there for ages.
Oh shit, lucky. Lucky.
So hopefully it wasn't nighttime.
No, it was always during the day.
Yeah.
Found some spots where the uncles took us. Like, man, their fish and chips were good, and it was good food there. Always good food there.
Sure, brother. So what's happening? So when are you going to do For the Boys again?
I think. Yeah, we've been off for a while.
So that season over? Ready for next season?
Well, the way it happened was when we couldn't get back together or continue on, you know, being like every week. Like, we tried it, we keep trying it. Like, shit, let's try and like organize it. But then every time it came to the week, it's either someone was busy, we just couldn't like match up with each other, and with us, like I hate going on. Like, how can you talk by yourself on a podcast day? And when you go live, like people look at, is this guy alright? Or you have to have some balls on you to try and talk by yourself. But see, that's the thing. Like we've got guests that are keen or that are lined up, and we've reached out, or they've reached out to us. But I feel like it's better if we're all there. And
you don't want to take a guest on?
I've done it,
yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me thinking that way. And it's just, I guess I'd rather have everyone together. But at the moment, we're trying to think of ways to maybe change up. We're trying to plan something just to make it a lot more consistent, whether we're doing it weekly or once every 2 weeks, just to make it more achievable for us. Because you need to be consistent to try and push it out, like once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks, but not just have let's do it today and then next 3 weeks we're off, let's do it today, and then it's just all over the place. And if you want people to try and reach out or listen to you, that's my way of thinking. If you want people to try and listen to you, you got to be more consistent for them, how we were doing it weekly before. So at the moment, I'm not too sure how when our next podcast is. We're just planning something to, just in the planning phase, to try and maybe
revamp.
But it's still there. We still have chats to people that do listen to our podcast that are up, and they reach out and say, hey man, I got something to say. We just tell them, look man, at the moment we might reach out to you, but at the moment it's just we're trying to sort out ourselves first. And we the boys, we still catch up, have a laugh about stuff, but it's just trying to find time now, trying to find time together. Busy life, which is how we set it out. We said to each other, like, if we have a good core of boys that, like when you're saying, like, you consistently always pushing yourself to do it, and with us, we try to get like a good core of boys that even though one is gone or two is gone, like someone's gonna always be there. That's what we try to do it. But when we have like majority of us off, it's like shit, we can't do it. We thought it would work, or maybe our planning is not the best. So that there is where we kind of need to look back on it, and hopefully, I don't know, when we next be on and have a chat, we'll try and make it a little more better than how we were.
I'm trying to see how I'm coming through towards a crossroads. In a way, like, because now I've got this other podcast called Empty Out the Clip.
Yes, yeah.
And I think you came on that one. But I'm getting quite iffy about that one, especially me being on it.
Yeah.
Because it's a very opinionated one.
Yeah.
And that's one where you just say what you think.
Yeah.
And you just don't hold back because it's what you think.
Yeah.
And you just argue before it was on. Like, it's not argue for argue's sake, but it's a place where you can just give your opinion on something. Yeah. And we always talk about what happened during the week in the news. Or stuff like that. And what you think. Now, I've gotten to the point where I know I've had my opinions on that one, but it might not be everyone's cup of tea sort of thing, and that might be I think might be a detriment. To me personally. And we always say we don't care about what people think, but it might be a detriment to this podcast.
True.
Because if I'm giving out my opinion and 100 people don't like it, 100 people like it, 100 people don't like it. Like, what if I want to talk to someone and the people that don't like it? They don't want to come on because I've said something that they're... Yeah,
true. They might not agree to what you agree.
But I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Like,
you're open, you're open to a conversation,
I'm open-minded, right?
Yeah.
And the way I see... I don't know, you might see it too, but the way I see people on social media and what people think and what this political correctness, PC culture and all that, it doesn't allow for wrong opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you give your opinion too much, if you show the world your opinion too much, people are gonna say, "Oh, fuck that, the kid."
Yeah. No,
and then it's not gonna be helpful to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Like if I was an asshole and did it and not change my mind, then I understand. But I'm not that. But I think like my opinions can be
come across as
as
like arrogant.
Yeah. You know, I have that fear now.
And to your point too, like you have these podcasts, and you have a particular podcast where there's opinions you share, which makes you like this is you. Like you have your own way of kind of letting everything out. But yet people might not agree to it because they're like, oh, well, I didn't know he was like that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to like listen to his other podcast because he has this view. Like, you might like Trump, and you know, that's probably the one to use is like, you know, if you like Trump, I don't like Trump. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You have your way of thinking, and that's good too. I think what I've learned in this podcast is that you need to be open about these conversations. You need to, you know, because at first I thought when people, not about the podcast, when I'd have conversations about like just other subjects with people, and I used to get like butthurt about when people wouldn't agree with me.
Yeah.
You know, when you have those conversations. But see, when you come to when you put it on the podcast world or put it out there, there's going to be people that are going to hate the way you talk, hate the way you think, or just hate your way of, you know, your opinion.
Because I also think there might be so many people out there that do just that and give people like me and you a bad name because we're open-minded and other people aren't.
Yeah.
And people used to people not being open-minded.
Yeah.
So if they're saying,
if you're a brown person.
Yeah. And if they're calling this guy a dickhead, maybe he is.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
And then, but if we say the same things. Like we don't want to.
Yeah.
Like
but you would. Yeah.
Like how do you know how do you know that we're open-minded or not?
Yeah. If you don't actually give us the, you know, you say something, you know, like that sort of stuff. Like we're open to conversation. We might be wrong in the way we can't you view us as this person that may be wrong, but because you haven't maybe challenged us or, you know, spoken or just listened to us, you know, that you're not going to get it right every single time you come out as opening up about your opinions. Which is, I think, you know, we're especially seeing a brown person being so open.
Yeah, people
get it wrong and say, "Fuck, you know, that's not the way we are. You shouldn't be saying that sort of stuff." And I, it's just people have these sort of mindset that doesn't really open up,
And you know what? This is why I don't like that word safe space.
Yeah.
Because it's not safe. Nothing's safe.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be safe, then you shouldn't, they expect not to talk about these things. You know what I mean?
What do you call it when you have a discussion where it's not a...
But, you know, when they say, come on, have a discussion. This is a safe space. So you're going to just talk about things you guys agree with?
Yeah.
What about if someone comes in with disagree? Is not safe anymore?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Is it? But that's not the point of the whole trying to solve a problem. Because when I think about having a conversation, having an open mind, what you're actually trying to do is solving a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem. How are you going to solve it? Okay, I've got my way of solving it. And this person, I've got this way of solving it.
Yeah.
No, your way is shit. My way is the right way.
Yeah.
And that's what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
When
I've got the better way of solving this problem.
Yeah, and you're not.
That's when you have your
like
that wall. Yeah. You're kind of not coming together when it's meant to be like that.
Yeah. And that's what's actually happening.
Yeah.
When people argue.
Yeah.
Actually argue. You know.
And and again to your point, bro. I've had many of those arguments because I've done that same thing. You know, like I'll give you one time. We're having a drink and probably having alcohol is probably not the best thing because, you know, when you're talking with the boys, and I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and it's fucking stupid, bro. You know, it's like, who's the best singer in New Zealand? And, you know, we're like, oh, this person is, this person, I think He said, right now. I asked him, you mean right now or over time or, the best ever in New Zealand? He goes, no, right now. Oh, no, sorry, New Zealand, Australia. He goes, I go, oh. And then Lord was like, she was like she was like peaking everywhere, But I didn't come up with that answer. I don't know, man. And he goes, Guy Sebastian. I was like, oh, yeah, nah, fuck. And then one of the other boys said, Lord. I said, oh, Lord, shit, she's bigger than both. Like, I think a lot of the boys gave out their answer. And then it got to a point where we're just arguing over it. Like, it wasn't a point where it wasn't a discussion where everyone's going to give their answer. It was a discussion who was going to win that fight, that who was the best. And once we turned to each other and started, nah, bro, but how much money has he? We started breaking it down.
Yeah.
But because we didn't want to,
that's when you can start measuring.
Yeah, we started measuring, but it got to a point where I think we both like just had our wall up straight away. Just nah.
Even when the facts come in, they
nah. Getting out the phone, Google. Nah. So how? Yeah, she didn't make that much. Where did he go missing like for 2 years? Because he had a family. You start like picking at all the wrong shit, but it shouldn't be a conversation like that. And I think I learned because, although having the alcohol was there, none of us wanted to let go. Right? We were just nah, fuck. It got to a point that it was unhealthy. Yeah, like the boys will be boys, but shit. You gotta sometimes just like, okay, nah, yeah, sweet as. That's your number one. That's my number one. That's the facts, nah. That's the facts, and then I think from that point on, like I try to make it my if I'm having a drink, and I don't know, many people do this, but if I'm having a drink, I try to listen to the conversation instead of like jumping in and nah, I know better, or nah, your one's wrong. Like, you're always trying to prove this person wrong, because come across as arrogant because you know. I was like, nah, try and bring up facts, but it's not facts. It's just lies, bro.
This is when you don't believe the facts, eh?
Yeah, it's like, nah, where's that? Show me.
And then when they show you, nah, they're lying, man.
Nah. Bro, do you actually follow Google? I heard it's like, anything you type in there, you're gonna be right. Do you follow DuckDuckGo? No, these ones, eh?
But yeah, man, like I'm trying to analyze what's out there in terms of that kind of stuff. Like, what do people think about conversations? Like, are people that open to conversations these days, or are they not? Because for me, man, I can talk to anybody. I feel that's how I feel. The podcast has made me confident enough that I can talk to anybody. Yeah, and I'm just hungry for that.
Nice,
just that hunger for talking to people. And I don't even care. I just get anyone to talk, because you might, like you said, you might find those gems along the way. And a lot of people got heaps of gems. There's heaps, and I just don't want my opinion to be a
negative, like a turn off to
turn off. And that's what I'm scared of, because I don't have faith in people that on social media hide out with their opinions. Yeah, because there's a lot of them. Yeah, and they're not open-minded, I feel. Yeah, and I feel like and if I'm gonna be opinionated, I want that's what I want. But I feel like that's happening.
Oh, bro, it just sounds like you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't know. Like. But you have that platform there for you already, so yeah. Nah,
because there's that, and there's tall poppy syndrome as well.
Even that, man. Like, and I going back to when we started our mental health podcast. At times I was like, are we trying to build this platform for the likes only, or for the follows? What are we trying to push here? Because. I lost myself a few times along the way. I was like, let's push these. We need followers and we need viewers. Which is fine. But if you don't go back to the roots core, over there, core or the value of what you're trying to push, then everything else it shouldn't matter. And then, coming back to, the followers again, me, I was too focused on, like, trying to do something else rather than align myself with, it's all about mental health. Don't worry about anything else that happens on the side. And we're going to have people that are probably not going to like us, which is, who cares? At the same time, you'll lose yourself more if you're following the likes than if you were to follow like these values as you just say. And so what happened is, we started hearing all these other, I'm talking about me. We started hearing all these other mental health podcasts, and we started being like, bro, we started it first, dude. Like, you're trying to, like, we started it, yeah. Like, and I was like, bro, I have to check myself and say, nah, man, it should be a good thing because their value is mental health. We shouldn't be challenging each other, we shouldn't be like, oh, it's your mental health podcast versus my mental health podcast. And that's what I had to check myself on. I was like, nah, just focus on your own game. Don't worry about them, And that happened like, towards the beginning. It's like, why is there so many, people trying to copy us? But it wasn't that. These people had something they wanted to build, and that's good for them. So, checking yourself every time this happened was, for me, every time that happened was probably a good thing for me.
I remember when we started the podcast, there was hardly any out there. There's a handful. And even people that there's a lot of people that didn't know what the podcast was.
Yeah.
Didn't know who Joe Rogan was and all that. That was that time. And when we started, I always heard people say, "Oh, podcast, what is that?" And I have to show them how to do it and all that. But there's heaps of that. But now there's like, everyone knows now.
Yeah.
Podcast is podcast. I remember when Nate Noah left my FM and he started his own podcast. And there was like, I would hear things like, oh shit, what is he doing a podcast for? Isn't he like a radio guy? Because he was like, he was one of the first guys I knew in media that did the podcast.
Yeah.
When he started his one ages ago.
Yeah.
And I heard talk about, oh, why is he doing one? Fuck. But I looked at it as like, that's good. Because he's going to bring people into knowing what a podcast is.
Yeah.
Because he's got this,
realm, yeah.
he's got all this following. If he's gonna pull a podcast on, then we're right there too. We're in that same.
Yeah.
And there will be chance that there'll be more new podcast listeners coming in because of Nate. They'll probably find us somewhere along the line. I don't know how, but at least there'll be more. Yeah. And we're talking about stuff happening around Auckland anyway, or West Auckland for us. So it pulls in more. But one thing I did do with the West Coast Network, especially on Facebook, because Facebook has these groups you can make.
Yeah.
Like our podcast, the Channel 135 podcast, we talk about TV shows and movies. Like we created a Facebook group page, right? But we made it private.
Yeah.
And we didn't invite anybody. And we just left it there. And we just say it on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We just advertised that page on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then the people that just come on, I know they listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
So that's how I know. All the people that's in there, it's only a small group.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because I know they're listening.
Yeah.
Because the only way they can go on there is if they listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Nah, exactly, bro.
So I'm just treating these guys on the thing like loyal fans. Like, because they're there.
Yeah.
Because that's the only place they know is on the podcast. So I always put posts up on my own opinion on movies and that.
Yeah.
I give them, are you on there?
Yeah.
Are you on there too?
Yeah. I've been commenting on quite a few of those posts. And I think, which one? Oh, yeah, that, I think the last one I commented on was that Perofeta one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just how a dog act. That was a dog act. But yeah, like, that's it. Like, if you have a core group of guys that, not necessarily align with your way of thinking, and they do have their own, that becomes a positive outcome for you both, because even though you might not agree, I might not agree with the same thing, but still we can still have a robust conversation. Something can come out of it.
There was a post I made because I saw a saying that was pretty cool. It said, it said like something like, argue as if you're right, but listen as if you're wrong.
Yeah.
And always have an open mind.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that is. Yeah. Makes sense. I'm trying to think of it, I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. True, bro.
So that's the hope I have for people out there.
Yeah.
You know, that, because we're talking about trolls, right? We're talking about all these people that jump on social media and attack. Those keyboard
especially
warriors.
when that's the platform. Yeah, that's the platform we push towards too.
Yeah.
You know, like if we don't expect it, that's probably the craziest thing you could ever do is look in your comments and people always like doubt you, and even sometimes it's your own people that probably do the same thing too. So like, to your point, bro, it's good how you think of it like that. I've never thought of it like that. I know I've always been open to having conversation, because I think the more information you get, the better you are, you know, yourself. But at the same time, you have to, as the information you're receiving, is it correct? You know, you kind of have to do your own.
But if it plants a seed of idea in your head,
like,
that
you know,
never
if
thought
it
about.
helps, like that's the thing. If it helps someone, bro, it works. One thing that I've kind of taken away from my brother is that he always, when he had an argument or like a chat with someone, he would always be quiet, because, you know, like you said, you know, he's listening, but he'll like, I think a few times when I've had an argument with him, he'll never say I'm wrong. He'll never say like, hey, you know, bro, what you said is probably not right. But he never put in there where he goes, oh, okay, yeah, no, true. And he'll just say what he needs to say, which becomes like a more open discussion. But every time he would say something, I'd be like, bro, you're wrong, man. You know, like, yeah, he's trying to be open to, but I'm not. I'm coming in for all these, well, you know, you think it's facts, but maybe it's not. Maybe, you know, you've got second-hand information. But yeah, so like learning those little things as well, being open to, you know, like we said before, if you like Trump, yeah, what do you like about Trump? Because I fucking hate him, you know. You know, you shouldn't like him. You shouldn't force your ideas on someone else, but be open to what they might interpret him as the best thing.
Because you have to know both sides of the story.
Yeah, even though you do hate the fella, and I don't hate him, but you know, just those little things. You're really, are you going to be open to it from the beginning? Because if you don't, then you know, you're already.
Because it's hard to, especially when you're on social media, because what you're seeing in the algorithm, you're just seeing your side of the story.
Yeah.
Because
always right.
Whatever you like, it's going to show up. And then, you know, whatever opinion you have on social media, all the stuff related to opinion is going to show up. So that's all you're going to see. Yeah. So you're stuck in your side of the story.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you your feed is different to my feed. Your feed's got all the things you like.
Yeah.
My feed's got all the things
True.
I like. You know, and if I like something you don't like, and you pop up here, I'm going, hey, what's this guy? Yeah. And I automatically, you're not part of my group. You know, you're not part of my algorithm. What are you doing here? You know. So social media plays a big part of how we think.
Yeah, bro.
And yeah, I'm just, it's a funny time, all this, because this is like another level. I think we're in the next level of trying to figure this podcast game out. You know, with the conversation.
Like you said, the crossroads, like. Yeah.
Because now we've done it for a couple of years. You know, now we're comfortable with what we want to talk about. Is it safe enough for other people?
Yeah.
Like we want it to be. We want it to be just. It's not safe. It's not safe. I keep on saying safe. It's not safe because I know half people are not gonna like it and other half people are not gonna like it. Like all the Sunny Bill fans out there are gonna hate me for teasing Sunny Bill.
Oh, bro.
But we But man, hey, if all the boys on the chat is teasing what he says, if you know, then hey, I'm not the only one.
That's it, though. You know, like I think we're just saying what other people are saying sometimes too. You know, they want to say it, but they don't want to be open to putting it out there. You know, like you know, I get that feeling too. Like I said in the chat a lot of times, like fuck, bro, this or that, and then you think, would you want to be put on a show and say the same thing? So you know, which kind of stops us, right? You know, it kind of stops us from.
Well, when is that not tall poppy syndrome and just criticism?
Yeah,
I mean, okay, I'm criticizing Sonny Bill here on the commentary, but I've never heard anything like that before.
Yeah,
you know, he's the first, so of course you're going to be criticized.
Yeah,
it's a life, it's a natural thing. If you're the first one to do something, of course people are gonna say stuff. Yeah. You can't just say, "Oh no, you're just a hater." You're a hater, or. You know, you can't say you're a hater.
Yeah.
That's tall poppy syndrome, or you know, give all excuses when you're the pioneer of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And of course, people that not if you're not used to something, you're gonna say something about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
just like probably when if we go back to tall poppy syndrome, probably when people first heard the podcast back on Rugby 5 for the first time, saying, "What the hell? This guy's what do they think they are? Think they're on the radio? You know, they don't understand. Like, but it's a new thing." So of course you're gonna criticize or say something under your breath or talk to someone else or you know
something that you don't know or doesn't align with maybe like you know for example us just saying look this is not our normal you know like seeing Sonny Bill say this I was like this doesn't normally happen on thing you know it's not that it's because I haven't seen it, or I haven't heard it, or it is the way he's done it is not the way I'm used to it. Like I think we were. For me, I wouldn't call it tall puppy. Maybe again, he's a pioneer of what he's trying to do, and maybe that's the route they're taking. But yeah, it's not normal to me. But don't criticize me for saying it. Don't jump on the wagon and you know just attack me. So I didn't do anything wrong. Shit, man.
Yeah, there's heaps of those things.
Yeah, there is a point where you know, like, when you say tall puppies, and I think the number one person we can ever that comes to mind is Adesanya. Eh? If you didn't know him, you would think that's not the Kiwi way. That's not the Kiwi way. So you're actually criticizing his personality, everything else with how he is, you know, because all we've ever known him to be is that confident person. He talks and how he fights. Then you have people that give, oh, bro, that's not us. That's not how we act.
Because we're not confident.
So like it's just you're just looking at it in a way that it's how you feel.
Yeah, not you know, everyone else.
Because you don't act like that doesn't mean we're not Kiwis or whatever. But in our way, what we're trying to do, we're just trying to get used to that norm and the way he was talking, you know? Because Kate, you know, every other person that's on the sideline or in rugby doesn't do it the way he does it. But he comes on and has that, like, hey, brother, you know, what's up? What's up, bro? How's the family? You know, that sort of stuff that's not normal on a rugby chat. So, yeah, it's
a weird kind of thing to figure out, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's there in front of us. All these things are happening, and we just have to. You just notice it, and you don't think of anything first, but then you think about it. Oh, fuck, that's something. You know, that's something. You know what I recently learned? Like, do you know the Zealous State of Mind podcast?
Yeah,
with Yash.
Yeah.
With Yash, like he's a coach, right? So he's come up with this idea of tall poppy syndrome being with the kids he coaches at schools, like the basketball kids or the rugby kids. That I never heard of this. He says it's a thing, and he's talked to other coaches, and they say the same thing too. That kids these days are they don't go hard out, they're shy, or they don't go hard out in the games because they're worried, or they're ashamed that if they go too hard out, they'll be the hard out guy. And other kids are going, wow, what a serious guy. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it happens, bro.
And then they won't go hard.
Yeah.
even though they got the potential,
Yeah.
their confidence kind of goes down. And he was explaining that, and I couldn't figure out. Hey, is that a thing? And yeah, the kids are like, yeah, they don't want to be that hard out guy because the other kids will tease them. Like, what a serious, or why wouldn't it be Kobe Bryant or something, or But that's just, I don't know. And when I heard, if you listen to his latest podcast with Alex Brown, he's another basketball coach. He took his kids to Orlando to train with the American schools over there.
Yeah.
And they couldn't believe how hard out these kids are.
Yeah.
Like, their mentality is like, go hard or go home.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, we got no time to muck around. We and like when they get blocked, everyone's like cheering, like, that's right, let's do it, let's go back, let's do it, like that. But he was saying, like, kids, when they get blocked here, their team laughs. Shame, they got blocked. Like, and they'll just laugh.
Different mindset, eh?
Yeah. And see, when you explained that story, I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. I've seen that American sports because I'm a big fan of American sports, so I can see, I understand all the American style or American mentality with sports because they are hard out. Because, if you think about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, how crazy they are being competitive. Like, that's the competitiveness that's normal over there, but it's not, for our kids.
Or within, But that's it, eh? It's like, it's the surroundings then, eh? Like, as a kid, I probably would do the same thing, because I wasn't the best. But when you try something, you don't want to be the one to get like put down straight away. So you won't try, eh? Yeah. So you.
So that's the thing, eh?
Yeah, it is. Actually, it is, bro. But then I think later on, through sports, again, not the best sports player, but when I surrounded myself with like-minded players, like whether it was playing rugby or touch, and you have people on the same wavelength, so you, like, anything you did extra, they would be like, whoa, that's us. But if you don't surround yourself with those sort of mindset or that sort of people, the people that are within your wavelength, and you don't want to try the extra, because these guys are going to think of me like, but when I'm with the boys, like having that conversation, like, oh, fuck, I know more than you, bro. But when you have a conversation with someone else, you kind of think, oh, no, because you might think of me as an asshole. But really, I am an asshole. I am an asshole, but maybe I don't want to be the asshole today. See, it's like, bro, it's so true, bro. Like, that mentality, as you said, the way Americans act, just not act. They're not acting. Sorry, that's just them. Like,
they don't know
like
what
pump your chest.
They don't know what soap opera is.
Like,
they don't know what it means.
But when you talk like, it's humble. Like, you can be humble, but that sometimes that's not even something you should think about. Like, people are different. Like, I think in this day and age, or maybe not. And I'm just only referring to Adesanya and the way he acts. It's not my cup of tea. But because we know he's like that, and he's so he's spoken. But yet, because we're so closed in, we're not gonna go. Oh, we're shying away from that sort of stuff.
But see, that's another thing, because UFC is like the hardest sport, one of the hardest sports in the world. Like fighting in itself is one of the hardest sports in the world, because it's two extremes. When you lose in boxing, man, you are down in the dumps, man. That's the worst feeling ever. When you win in boxing, it's the opposite. You're the highest of the high. No drug can get you to that high when you win. So two extremes in boxing. That's why it's a really hard sport. Yeah. And the people that box and they can handle the losing and the wins and the losses, man, they can handle anything. That's such a hard sport. For people to think that you won't go hard, you have to be confident. That's a sport you got to be confident in. I mean, it comes with winning.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not going to be confident, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And for people to question that, say, what are you confident for? What are you being a dick for?
Yeah.
Nah, man. Well, why don't you come and play the sport? And you try not doing what you think I should not do, and see how far you get.
That same, bro. I always think of like games I've watched, and you go back to the like of Rico. You know how Rico, we've never seen anyone like him, like scoring those tries so quick. And you know how he celebrates straight off the thing.
Mm.
What's your initial thought in here? What a dick, you know?
Not me, man. Not me, man.
Like that's, oh yeah, true. That's probably me, you know? Like, it's like, what a dick. But if you didn't know him and you saw him, let's say it's an American guy watching it, you're like, exactly. You know?
Exactly.
But if you, and then you think of us, you know, well, let's say me, and I saw him doing it, I was like, bro, that's not us, bro. We shouldn't be doing that. It's like humble, bro. Humble, do this, you know? Go off now. Bro, see, exactly that tall poppy, that's it there, because you don't know what it is. You don't know his confidence, eh?
Yeah.
Different type of confidence. And because you didn't do it, doesn't mean anyone else can't, eh? And the whole New Zealand public is just like, bro, we, you know.
No, that's why our sports culture is...
Bro, and the number one, the way he scored that try when he dropped it, you know, like, and it was like one of those crucial, can't recall when. Bro, fucking New Zealand public was on him from the get. Like, you know, if you don't celebrate your tries like that, you shouldn't have celebrated. You lost that try. But, how about the 20 other tries he scored and he did the same thing? Just one try. People make mistakes.
Yeah. No, that's what happened there. That's what I thought too. Like, all the other tries and he just stayed one. And now you're going to blame him for doing the pose?
Yeah. Well, he's going to make mistakes, but that mistake doesn't matter. He scored so many before that you know, you're only just waiting back. Okay, here we go in the chats.
But you know what? If you watch enough American sports, right? If you watch enough NBA, NFL, even especially the college games, right? You see how hard out those fans are. You see how all their money. You see all those uniforms. You see all the people that in the stadiums packed. You see the loyalty.
Yeah.
The fans and that. They get up for these kind of things. You see the celebrations. I mean, NFL invented the in-goal celebration, you know?
Yeah.
They have to push back on them a bit, but they still do the celebrations. But even the NBA, when you dunk it, you scream, bump your chest, you know? It gets the crowd wild, you know? And the crowd feed off it.
Yeah, you get in the face of every other person, you know?
Yeah. And they hate the other team. Yeah. They hate them. Like, NFL's the worst of fans. I think... As a city, I think Philadelphia, their fans, like the most hated fans in American sports. True. Like, it's the worst fans. They hate everybody, you know? And it's hard to play there. Yeah. Even in Boston, too. When the crowd does the chants. Yeah. And stuff like that. But that's the passion that the fans have, because they feed off... They feed off both. The players feed off the fans. Fans feed off the players. You know, and that's why, and that's the kind of passion Rico has when he does those poses. Yeah, because the adrenaline rush. Yeah, and because that's his team, and his expression, you know. Yeah, and then if this was America, they'd be like jumping up with him. Yeah, going
But it's New Zealand. It's like, settle down now. Yeah. Nah, bro, and it is true, bro. This tall poppy syndrome, it does start from a young age, man. It starts, you know, whether you like it or not, you want to be known as a humble but good player, then be someone that's so arrogant and good. Like, those are the two that you'll compare yourself. Like, you know, you're a different type of player. You'd like that. Not, I want to say arrogant, just confidence, right? Confident player. People in New Zealand would rather be humble and, you know, good. And then on the other hand, people are like Kiwi being confident and good. People don't like it, you know, which is stupid.
It is stupid.
It's so stupid. Yeah. It's the same people. It's the same person. You know, like, just...
It's like you can't win, It's like you can't win,
Yeah, no, he can't win, man. He can't win, and
but your side is the side that you expect to back you. Yeah, because that's your side. Yeah, you know, but they don't for some reason.
Oh, bro, I think that sort of subject will go on forever and ever in New Zealand, because, you know, we're expected to be humble, and when we see an outspoken confident person, it's like they're gonna wait for him to fall. It's straight away. Because you're over, or if you're overconfident, we got a lot of us behind waiting for you to fall down, mate. But if you're humble and you fail, they're like, it's all good. You'll get back up on it. But you should be doing the same to both. That the energy is different, but you should be having that same energy for both. Yeah, guess that's just the way it is over here. It's probably, again, like the brother that founded in primary schools. It's not going to change anytime soon, eh? You're going to have one or a few of their group will be confident, but the majority maybe.
I think that's because that's our job, to change the culture, because we're on our podcast. We got this platform. We can
be
start
confident,
preaching.
mate. Get out there. Celebrate.
Terry, bro, thanks for coming on the podcast, brother.
Oh, bro, anytime, man.
Hope you had a good time, man.
Oh, bro, good setup, man. Thanks for inviting me into the what do you call this space now?
I should call it something.
Yeah, bro, you should name it, bro.
I was trying to figure out a name for listeners too. I had this name I thought of ages ago.
Yeah,
because I was telling Isaiah, I was telling him, man, you know what? And we should also have names for our listeners. Like what? I don't know. Since we're like a bus, call them the passengers.
Shout out to the passengers that have jumped on tonight. They're listening to us, or wherever you're hearing this.
It sounds corny now than it did back then.
Yeah. I mean, if you get, again, you got to get the viewers to into it. You get into that energy, feed off it.
So that's it, man. Thanks, brother.
Hey, pleasure, man. Thank you for inviting me on the podcast, bro. What you're doing with all this stuff looks good, man, and keep doing you. You're consistent, mate. Get out there.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Shuttles.